Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and Joe Dehls. And this is now episode 419. In this episode, we are going to give our NBA predictions for the Eastern Conference, the Western Conference, the standings, and our awards predictions. Fellas, how are we doing today?
I'm doing pretty great. Finally feeling 100% after being sick damn near all week. Feeling good. NBA season's coming up this week. That's super exciting. My Broncos coming off an absolute demolishing of the New Orleans Saints. 4-3 record. We moved. Bo Nix was mid, and we still won by double-digit points. It was a movie. But regardless of that, I'm doing excellent.
I don't know how every time I sit here, the mic is somewhere different. Like, I feel like before I could sit here, and it was right in front of my face, and now it's all the way over here.
You know what it is?
I don't know what I changed.
When you get up, you move it.
That's true, maybe, but now I can't get it back. Anyway, though, Sunday's a big day, man. Jets, Sunday Night Football against the Steelers. Devontae makes his debut. Jets got to win. New York Mets. Sean Manaea is on the hill. Game 6 against the Dodgers.
Got to win.
I like our chances. We force a Game 7. Anything happens. Sunday night. If both things go wrong, I don't know if you'll see me again. I'll be honest.
I'm feeling confident about one of those. The other one...
Honestly, I don't know which one you're more
I
confident
know
in.
which one he's talking about.
He
Actually,
picked the
no, I
Jets.
don't. I fucking don't. He's talking about the Mets. You don't feel confident.
It's going to be tough, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
Their bullpen's nasty.
Dodgers have been elite. They've been elite. And I came into the series like, yo, if I'm the Mets, I'd rather play the Dodgers. The
That's what everyone
Padres
was
just
telling
seem to
me
be
too.
the best team right now. They're the hottest team, got the best pitching, got the best lineup. Dodgers came in and said, shut the hell up, Drew. You don't know what you're talking about.
Sometimes miracle ends have to.
Yo, Tommy Edman,
He's suddenly amazing. Yo, Andy Pages?
2 home runs,
Yeah,
and he
he
violated too. His bat flipping, staring at it and shit.
I would have too. They were moonshots.
I mean, one of them, he was down like 8, bro, and Alvarez said something to him when he went to the dugout.
I did see that.
But he did, I can't lie. Like, he's a 9-hitter. He's a rookie, right? So, I mean, I get it, you know.
Do you think
got me tight.
Do you think Alonso earned a payday after this postseason?
Man. Because he's had 2 huge home runs.
Enormous.
But he has not been consistent game to game. You know, last night he was amazing. I think he got on base 4 times, 3 or 4 times last night. I don't know, bro. With Stearns there, anything's on the table. The fact that he's not, you know, obviously the people who drafted him or anything like that, but he liked the Mets. He was a Mets fan growing up, and I think he understands what Pete means to the team. Like, everyone loves Pete Alonso, but he's going to want a bag. He's going to want, like, maybe close to 200 mil.
If he says I'll play for 150, I think it's a no-brainer you do that. 200, that's where things get dicey for me. But Marte,
great, yeah.
that moves me because he's finally healthy. And if he comes into next
He had
season
3
fully,
doubles
he won 4. He had 4 hits.
The real star, though,
I mean, come on.
not even Lindor.
Okay.
Vientos.
Yeah, he's a dog.
Mark Vientos
He's
is
a
a
superstar.
superstar. He's a superstar.
Nah, he's been OD.
I'm not gonna lie. He's a
recently.
superstar, man.
Like if Joel knows about Vientos, that's
a
when you know
fucking
Vientos
superstar.
been locked in.
Nah, he's been playing really well for the Mets this postseason.
Nah, he
That's
has.
a big reason why they made it this far.
Honestly.
Rev, how you doing?
How can you not be romantic about baseball, man?
That is one of my favorite clips ever, honestly.
I'm feeling good. I'm just ready to talk ball. Basketball's back, so I'm excited.
So we have our prize picks for Sunday's games.
Yep.
We have 3 picks here. The first pick, Sunday Night Football. This isn't Sunday night. This is just Week 7. Week 7 prize picks NFL picks. I have Devontae Adams, 50.5 receiving yards versus the Steelers. I think this line is low. It's lower than Garrett Wilson's receiving yards line. And quite frankly, I think Devontae is going to have a monster game. I don't think he's been injured this whole time. I think he's been faking it. And now that he got to the Jets, he looks great. We're getting practice clips. I think Aaron Rodgers and Devontae are going to connect in a big-time way.
Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you heard a hamstring injury healing after 2 weeks? When was the last time you heard that? It doesn't happen. Hamstring injury, 4 weeks minimum. But I agree with that. The fact that this line is as egregiously low as it is, it's showing me one thing. One, they don't think that Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams have that same connection that they had over in Green Bay. 2, they think that, Devontae Adams coming off the hamstring. They're going to ease him in. And 3, they think Devontae Adams isn't still one of them ones. I love that. No doubt that's a great play. I'm going Zay Flowers, 60.5. He's going to have more than that, no doubt about it. Going up against the Buccaneers, one of the worst defenses, one of the worst secondaries in football. And these last couple of weeks, he's been a machine, over 100 yards in both of these games. I'm anticipating a third, but 60.5 is all he has to have more than. I'm pretty confident in that.
And I'm going the same game. I'm going Baker Mayfield more than a touchdown and a half, so he has to get 2 touchdowns. I just love what Chris Godwin's been doing this year. He's been on another tear. Probably statistically one of the 5 best receivers in football. Mike Evans is Mike Evans. You know, consistency will always be there. But I think Baker Mayfield's been on the MVP tour. I think he's been playing amazing, keeping the ball safe, making some big-time throws. I think he'll be able to light up this secondary because I don't love Baltimore's secondary against these two guys. And I think it's been the vulnerable spot in their defense. But I think this game, regardless, is a shootout. And for it to be a shootout, Baker's going to have a great game.
And if you guys want to support the podcast, use code PAS when you're on Prize Picks. Play $5. Get up to $50 on Prize Picks. Use code PAS. Those are our Week 7 NFL picks on Prize Picks.
Baker's leading the league in passing touchdowns.
I've seen that.
15 passing touchdowns.
I've seen that. Yeah, he's insane. He's been doing his thing.
Mike Evans was on the injury report, but they took him off. He is going to play. That's huge news.
Yes.
That game kind of scares me for the Bucs a little bit. I don't think the Ravens have been playing to their talent level on defense.
Okay.
And Baker Mayfield is quarterback 2 in fantasy right now. I have a fantasy league that my quarterbacks are Joe Burrow, Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield, and then Aaron Rodgers.
Damn.
I don't start Baker. Even when he has great games, I can't bench Joe Burrow and I can't bench Jordan Love.
Two QBs? 2 QB league, I mean?
Yeah, it's the Pick a Side Dynasty one.
Oh, damn. You're stacked.
Yeah, it's because Riva traded me Jordan Love for Miles Sanders. Yeah.
That was last year? 2 years ago?
It was on the show.
Yeah. Paid no mind to that league.
Yeah,
it's a shame because your team's really good.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, do I still have that team?
Brother, it's on your phone.
It's forever.
No, I know. I've been locked in. What I'm saying is that one of the leagues that we're legitimately in right now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
My team's in second place. I beat John by 0.2 points last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think I played you in one of the leagues this week.
Which one?
You're G Herbo in one of them, or maybe all of them. I don't know.
I'm Big G Herbo in all of them.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think you have
John
a team name
a trade offer because he doesn't have a quarterback. His quarterback stink. I sent him a trade offer for Baker Mayfield for Brian Robinson and another receiver because my running backs are thin. I only have Kenneth Walker, James Conner, and Jonathan Brooks. That's it.
In a 2-quarterback league, quarterbacks are arguably the most valuable position. That's a fine offer.
Yeah, he hasn't accepted yet, though.
Brian Robinson and what?
Let me see what the other player is.
Because Brian Robinson for Bake, you can talk me into doing it if I'm desperate at quarterback. Desperate. I mean desperate. If my quarterback is, and I don't mean like you have Justin Fields, he was holding it down for you, but now Russell Wilson's now your quarterback. You have Herbert, who obviously isn't good in fantasy.
He sent me another trade.
He countered?
Yes.
Okay. So live on air. Here we go.
This is the first trade I sent him. I sent him Baker Mayfield and T. Higgins for Garrett Wilson and Brian Robinson.
I'll be honest. You're giving up a lot, but continue.
Yeah, I wanted Garrett though, and this is Dynasty League.
What were you giving up again?
You were
Baker
offering Baker
and T. Higgins.
Oh, got it.
And you're getting Garrett and Brian? Oh yeah. I like that.
Apologize. I thought you were trading Garrett too. Apologize. I'm here.
He told me I'm not trading Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
I said, okay,
get it.
I get it.
Doesn't say that on the show.
So this is the counter offer.
Mm-hmm.
He is going to send me Josh Jacobs and James Cook, and I send him Baker and Terry McLaurin, and that's a hard no.
Josh Jacobs and
James Cook. Do you need running backs?
He does need running backs.
I do. I have Kenneth Walker, James Conner right now, and Jonathan
I'm going to be
Brooks.
honest with you.
Fine.
I would accept that deal for sure. Your receivers in that league are stacked too, aren't they?
Yeah, so my receivers are A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, Brian Thomas, T. Higgins. I have Marvin Harrison. And then I have like the under-the-radar guys like Josh Downs.
And your running backs
Shakir.
are dog shit, aren't they?
Yeah, I just have Connor and Walker.
I'm going to be transparent with you. That might be an auto yes.
I just love Terry, bro.
I can understand it. And Terry, but he's 29. You're getting a young running back in James. Josh Jacobs is 26. So that one I can understand. But, dude, that's a good deal.
It's not bad. I'm going to think about it for sure. Terry McLaurin, I just don't want to trade
You're getting
him.
my insight. Take it or leave it. I would do it. But I understand holding on to Terry because that's your guy.
Listen, that Brian Thomas for Drake London deal. Drake's balling out right now.
Drake is better right now.
Brian Thomas is cooking too. Because when you first accepted that was like after week maybe 2, and Brian Thomas had a big game, and Drake London wasn't performing. I was like, fuck, man. He really let
respect on
he
Drake.
let a trade sit there for like 3 weeks and then click accept. I was sick. But no, now
those are the best. Some of those deals really are amazing. I had a deal sit in my inbox for 5 days. 5 days was enough for this deal too for me to be like, yo, I was wilding because I didn't see it. I had Kyron Williams and TJ Hawkinson. That's who I was getting. And I was giving up Zamir White and Jahan Dotson this offseason. So the idea that Hawkinson's coming off the torn ACL, MCL, whatever, he got his knee messed up. And then Kyron Williams, who broke his hand, was injured in the season with the hammy, but that was it. And he was amazing other than that. And I'm looking at the deal. I'm not going to lie, my heart starts pounding. I'm nervous for whatever reason.
Because
I'm like, yo, it's too good to be true.
Exactly. Because who is trading Kyron Williams for Zamir White? What's Zamir White done?
Nothing.
RB4 has he been RB40 this year?
Maybe.
And who just TJ Hawkinson?
No, John Dotson.
I'm getting TJ and
John Dotson.
He's licking.
That team, that trade.
When the trade happened, we all said, "What's wrong with you?" He said Zamir White's gonna have a better year. I said, "You're on crack."
That to you?
That was G.
Oh, G.
When I tell you that trade single-handedly has turned my team around, it really has.
It made no sense.
Impactful players for
what are you doing?
I have the second best record in the league right now. I've lost one game. Joel's team in that league is by far the best team I've ever seen.
My team's nasty.
It's incredible. It's really amazing.
I like my receivers in this dynasty league because I have AJ Brown and Terry McLaurin, who are
some aging stars,
great wide receivers right now.
Veteran stars,
yes.
I should say, not aging.
Yeah,
veteran
stars.
Like
I have Brian Thomas
stars.
Jr. and Marvin Harrison Jr., who could be 2 top 10 receivers.
And you got
like 2-3
T.
years from now.
OD and sprinkle a little T. Higgins in there too.
T. Higgins. I like Josh Downs. I like Khalil Shakir.
Love Josh Downs.
I got
man.
Romeo Dobbs. Datavia Wicks. This is not the year. You know, when Aaron Rodgers first started throwing to Devontae Adams in year 2, when people thought he was going to break out, he dropped a lot of passes. It wasn't until the year 3 breakout. So, Dontavian Wicks, I'm holding out some hope.
I just dropped him in Big Ten, actually.
I don't want to say he's terrible, but he's been terrible this year.
He's not good.
He gets open.
No, he gets open for sure.
Fuck cares.
He just has to catch the ball.
Like,
That's it.
Getting open is so important. Catching the ball is more important.
Yeah, you're just
you know
wasting time. Like, move.
Remember when people were saying Amari Cooper was a bust because he couldn't hold on to the ball?
But he fumble that shit a lot.
But he could fucking get open for sure, and that's
Butter
it.
hands, man. I have a blind ranking.
Here we go.
You guys want to start the show with it?
Yeah.
I love when we start the show with this kind of like.
So I am allowing you on this one, give you a little bit of a time limit, but I am allowing you to use your phones because our memories aren't the greatest in here. This is blindly ranking NBA drafts. So I'm giving you a year. You tell me, you know how this shit goes. 6 NBA drafts. Like I said, I'm allowing you to use your phones.
God, I would not remember.
Yeah, I know you specifically really wouldn't remember. First draft, 2008.
This is Derrick Rose. This is Tyreek Evans.
Let me start by saying no. It is not Tyreek Evans.
Oh, it's
Derrick
not.
Rose, Michael
the year
Beasley,
Okay.
OJ Mayo, Russ, Kevin Love.
So wait, no,
Brooke.
apparently that's 08?
Oh,
Yeah.
it is Kevin Love, Westbrook, D. Rose. Forgot it.
Roy Hibbert's in this. Serge Ibaka, Batum, George Hill.
Tell him what, you're forcing us to get in our back here, and
This
I
is a
respect the
5.
hell out of that.
This is why I said
Yeah,
use your
I'm
phone.
cool with that. 5.
This is 5, yeah. It's an all right draft.
Next draft up, 2014.
Andrew Wiggins, Jabari Parker, Joel Embiid's in this draft.
You're deep. You're deep. Because second round, you might find
Nikola
some guys in the
Jokic
second
is in
round.
this draft, isn't he?
Zach LaVine's in this draft.
Are we thinking 2?
Jokic, facts.
Jokic and Embiid are in this
That's
draft.
why I say you got
it's,
two
just,
MVPs.
it's not super deep, though. It doesn't have as many guys as the first one we just heard.
Who are the best 10 players in this draft?
10?
Can you sort it by points per game? Because I know that in Basketball Reference you
I
can do
can.
that.
Jokic, Wiggins, Julius Randle's in this. Joel Embiid, Levine, Clarkson, Aaron Gordon, Jeremy Grant, Clint Capella, Spencer Dinwiddie, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Nurkic, Marcus Smart.
I think this is 3. It could be 2. The depth isn't that great in this draft, but having Jokic, Embiid,
You have 2 of
Levine,
the
Julius
top,
Randle.
Whatever, 5, 6, 7
You have
players in the world.
all-stars, all-NBA players, MVP, some good role players.
What'd you say, 3?
I like 3. It could be 2, though.
I'm leaning 2. Jokic can go down as a top 10 player all time. He's already top 20 in some people's eyes. I'm not against that either. Joel Embiid's MVP.
I'm cool with 2. It's got the star power up top's nuts.
Yes.
So you guys are agreeing on 2.
2.
Love that for you guys. Next year up, 2011.
That's Kyrie.
Derek Williams. Let's see who's good in this draft.
Is that Bradley Beal also, or is that too
Kyrie's
early?
in this draft. Clay, Nikola
Clay.
Vucevic, Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, Kemba,
Should probably go
Kawhi.
points per game.
Wait, Kawhi's in this draft.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
Kawhi.
my bad. I was doing total points. Did I say Jimmy Butler?
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas, Nikola Vucevic, Tobias Harris, Bojan Bogdanovic.
This is 4. I'm leaning 4.
Kyrie, Kawhi, Clay. It doesn't have nearly the star power like top level, but you got like 5 or 6 really, really good dudes.
I can be talking
three
to
NBA
three.
champions.
OD. Because you have Kawhi, you have Clay, you have Kyrie, you have Jimmy. Those 4 are
like 10 rings
stars. I'm thinking 3. I could also be convinced into 1, but I can lean. I'll stay
I'm
3
cool with
right
3.
now.
I like 3.
I like 3.
Okay, so 2011 is 3. Next year up, 2004.
Okay, 1.
Dwight.
No, I apologize. You're right. Good shit. 'Cause that is Dwight. That's not
You was
the
thinking
2003.
LeBron.
That's on
I
me.
would never do
Kevin
that.
Martin, Dwight, Al Jefferson, Ben Gordon, Luol Deng, Josh Smith, JR,
6.
Okafor, Iggy.
6.
Yeah, 6.
We used the 5 spot already.
Used 6.
Yeah. No, we used 5.
Oh, you put 08 at 5?
Oh, 8's 5.
Apologize.
Yeah, that's last.
So this is 6.
So what do we have open right now?
I'm just going to tell you right
We
now.
have
one?
1.
You have 1 and 4 open.
Yeah.
Here we go. It always ends
Decent
like this.
spots.
Yeah. Could be worse. It's usually 1 and 6.
Or 1 and 5. Next year up, 2017.
Jason
Fultz.
Tatum, right?
Yeah, Tatum, Lonzo.
Maybe that bum. I don't know.
Brandon Ingram.
It is Tatum.
Was in this draft.
Donovan
or no?
Mitchell, Tatum, De'Aaron Fox, Laurie, Kyle Kuzma, John Collins, Bam,
Bam.
Dylan Brooks, Jared Allen, Derek White, OG,
God,
Lonzo,
Malik.
Malik Monk.
Got some
Josh
hitters
Hart.
here.
The
Jonathan
depth in this
Isaac.
draft is amazing, but it's 4.
It is 4.
Isaiah Hartenstein's in this too.
This is a really good draft, but it's 4.
Is it?
I don't think it can't be over Jokic and Embiid, bro.
But that is being carried by Jokic and Embiid.
It's not
good
over
carry.
Kyrie, Clay, and Kawhi.
Also agreed.
Donovan, Tatum, Fox, Markkanen, Bam, Jared Allen, Derek White, OG, Malik,
It's cute.
Jonathan
really good draft.
Isaac, Isaiah Hartenstein. This is by far the deepest class that we've had.
What if we get 2018? I think that's number 1.
This is the deepest class we've gotten.
Fucking cooked. I'll be honest.
Yeah, because 2018, SGA, Luka, Brunson, Jaren Jackson, Trae Young.
I nutted.
Yeah, no, that's number 1.
But we don't know if we're going to get it.
We can get fucking-
My heart says this is 1.
I'm not
just-
against 1.
I don't
I'm
think
convinced.
it's better because the star powers in the other drafts are really good.
But Jason Tatum is
super
a
deep.
superstar. Donovan Mitchell is a
They're
superstar.
not MVPs though.
Unfortunately,
MVP level. Tatum.
But there's so many
Joker,
great
Tatum.
players.
No, I mean,
Bam
I'm not
Adebayo.
saying Jokic is like top 20 level. You know what I mean? Tatum is MVP level. You know what I mean? Difference.
Donovan and Jason can be Hall of Famers. Bam Adebayo with his defense.
Hall of Fame doesn't move me anymore. In the NBA.
I'm just going based off who can be a Hall of Famer in this draft class. Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum can be a Hall of Famer. Bam Adebayo, TBD.
Hey, what?
I said can be a Hall of Famer, but TBD.
Hall of Famer.
You know what I mean? You think he's stamped like the way that Donovan and Tatum can be?
Bro, this is the NBA Hall of Fame probably.
It low key is a joke.
Julius Randle and Bam Adebayo probably have the same Hall of Fame odds.
You can check Hall of Fame odds on Basketball Reference.
Low key, you can. De'Aaron and Markkanen aren't Hall
I
of
don't
Fame
think
players.
Bam has won a lot.
If you want to put 4, I'll let you take the wheel.
Yeah, let's go 4.
Alrighty.
Because I think number
now
1
we have
might
the
be a
1
banger.
spot. Okay, come on.
All right, so you put 2017.
It's out of my hands
at
now.
4.
Just saying. No responsibility on me.
All right, so nice little conversation that we had. I love it. No yelling, arguing, and laughing. Just calm and cool and collected. So at number 6, you put the 2004 NBA draft. Shout out to Dwight. Number 5, you put the 2008 NBA draft. Shout out to D Rose and Westbrook. They gave us the Athletic Freaks. At number 4, you put 2017 with Tatum, with Bam, with Donovan Mitchell, all buddy. At number 3, you put 2011, Kyrie, Clay, Jimmy Butler, Kawhi, Leonard leading the charge. At number 2, you're sitting pretty at 2014. You have the Joker and Embiid. And at number 1 flies in the 2016 NBA draft. Forgot who's in it.
2016 is Jaylen Brown, Brandon Ingram.
There we go. Jaylen Brown. Lonzo?
No, he was in
he's in
Tatum's
Tatum.
draft.
Ben Simmons.
We sold.
God. So it's Brandon Ingram,
Fumbled
Jaylen
the bag.
Brown, Pascal,
We sold.
Jamal Murray, DeJounte Murray,
My God,
Joel's
this might
favorite
be 6.
player, Ben Simmons. I could have lived with this being 4.
This was
but
4.
Whatever. It's okay.
This one actually kind of stinks.
I think
have,
it's not that far off
The record
from
show, this is not on me.
2017.
It's not on me.
Think so?
What? No.
He's trying to buy it.
Jaylen Brown versus Jason Tatum that catches out.
Cook. But Donovan and B.I. is a huge OG, Derek White, Isaiah Hartenstein, Bam Adebayo. That one's so much deeper than this one.
I have the odds for Julius Randle and Bam. How far of a distance do you guys think it is? Hall of Fame probability.
It's like maybe 4 or 5%.
I think Bam, if I had to guess, is at like 47.
I don't know what
I don't know what the percentages are like that.
I got a hot take. I think Randall's higher.
I was just about to say that. I don't think Bam has any like All-NBA teams, so I would say Randall's probably higher.
He does have. God.
So Julius Randle, they don't have like, it's not like 60%. It says for Randle it's 0.01%, and for Bam it's 0.007%.
Oh shit!
So they're saying neither are getting into the Hall of Fame.
No,
as of right
but
now.
What I meant, I guess I should have worded it better, but Randle is 37th in terms of Hall of Fame probability. Bam's 42nd. So it's only a 5-spot difference between the two. You have Nikola Vucevic, Mike Conley, Jalen Brunson, and Siakam.
Vucevic, if he gets in,
Vuce is crazy. Jalen Brown's 44.
He's close to Bam.
Jalen Brown's not above Julius Randle right now?
OD.
Probably should be.
Is he a 2-time All-NBA?
He's an NBA Finals MVP.
He's a 1-time All-NBA. He's a Finals MVP and
kind of
Eastern
clear
Conference
at this
MVP.
point. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Finals MVP is come on.
They said Jalen Brown was a playoff dropper. Killed me.
You said that, Riff?
I don't think I said that part. I've said some things.
I just make up things because it's probably true. Somebody probably said
I don't think I said
well, I know
that
for a
one.
fact you said that you couldn't trust Jalen Brown in the playoffs because of the Miami series.
Weeks.
That I know was said.
When they played against Miami.
That I know was said.
Mason Rudolph is
because it was the only. Is he hurt? I hate that for him.
Yeah, Will Levis is hurt.
It was the only series that he's played bad in his playoff career while he's been the guy or one of the guys. And y'all said you couldn't trust him anymore.
Pretty sure he was going up against Miami when we said it again.
And then what did he do against Miami this year?
When they were fucking ass. I mean, yeah, he played
Miami
great.
still got their one too.
He played great. I mean, he doesn't play well against Miami. There's nothing wrong with it.
I think this version of Jalen Brown would.
Yeah, I mean, we won't know.
He's a better player than he was 2 years ago at this point.
Yeah, because now you can go left and he playmakes a bit.
Miami's a worse version than what they were 2 years
Absolutely.
ago. So,
True. We won't really ever get that matchup.
Jimmy Butler is back this season.
I don't think he ever left.
The health, but I feel like he's locked in this year.
Yeah, but I think he's still a great player.
Of course.
Yeah, so I don't think he ever left.
We didn't talk about ESPN's list. Boom or Doom?
What?
Ribs never heard that in his life. No way he knows what that is.
Bro, you haven't seen on the blind rankings when I put the caption and I have people vote Boom or Doom whether or not we cooked or not.
Do you know what Boom or Doom is from?
No.
That's yeah.
So shout out to Big AJ and Big Justice. When something's lit, that's a big boom. When something's ass, it's a big doom.
Who are these people?
The Costco guys.
Double chunk chocolate cookie.
I have no clue.
You've never heard of this? Oh, you're crazy.
Is it the two? Is it the dad and the son?
Yeah.
And they like and they sing,
they dance and
they do all that dance. They're like
bring
the
the
big ones. Oh, them.
That's what we do.
That's what they're called. The Costco guys.
Costco guys.
I had no fucking clue.
I knew Riv had no idea.
Yeah. Okay.
So Boom or Doom top 100 list.
Some of it was crazy.
Oh, like did I see it?
No, and did you agree with it or disagree with it?
I didn't see enough of it. I just I saw what the people were like getting upset about, but I didn't like. I saw where Derek Lively was. That was the biggest uproar.
That was insane.
Yeah, but I don't look at the ESPN list. They're
They
really
had Herb
bad.
Jones in the 90s, right?
Yeah, I don't look at ESPN list.
They had Valanciunas over him.
I feel
Shout
like
out
they
to Carson.
like
he was having
the
an
top
aneurysm
10,
over
20,
it.
whatever. But like it's really the back half of that. That's where you'd be like, what are we doing?
I think it was Jokic Joestar who was also having an aneurysm over it.
like,
Rightfully so.
I've seen it when people were like upset, but I didn't really look at the list.
Yeah, I think they had LeBron 7. They had Curry over
6,
LeBron.
yeah.
Facts.
Tatum was 5.
They had Embiid at 8.
Embiid at 8.
Oh, okay. So the only list I seen was Jason's list.
Would you like me to read you the important notables?
I also saw Jason's
that
list.
shit was crazy. That was the only thing I really read and was like, oh, because it's 10. I can easily read that. Top 100. I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah, no, Jason's list was crazy.
It was nuts.
Because his was...
It was just no Embiid. It really lost me.
Yeah, but he was also doing it, I don't know, because it's like top 10 players, and he says, well, top 10 players to me are whoever can get you through an 82-game season plus a run in the postseason. So he's accounting for like health and everything like that as well. But he had Ant 3?
Yeah, 5. 4.
5?
He had him right next to
Ant
us,
was
yeah.
5.
Yeah, okay.
And then he said like
dumb high.
who can build the team around, like who you could build the team around. Then he had AD above Embiid. And it was kind of like,
All right, this is a podcast talking basketball, so I'm just going to read you the list. Rui Hachimura was at 100. Brandon Miller.
100 what?
Not 100. The 100th best player in the league, Rui Hachimura.
That's a weird number.
Brandon Miller was 99.
He's what?
Cam Johnson, 98. Andrew Wiggins, 97. Too high. 96, Cam Thomas. 95, Amen Thompson. 94, Mike Conley. 93, your boy, Andrew Nemhard. 92, Devin Vassell. 91. I feel like, am I reading the wrong list? Because I remember... Oh, that ESPN should have made. Yeah, I know it.
How the fuck is Brandon Miller?
I'm just
99?
like, I remember Herb Jones being 97. That's on me for going on Twitter trying to expedite this process. But yeah, dude, the ranking was pretty bad.
I think they do it for controversy like this.
They do. That's why it's like,
I think you need to subscribe to ESPN Plus to see the whole list.
I am subscribed to ESPN Plus. That's why I'm trying to pull it up now, but it's not loading.
I do too, but I don't think people want to buy the subscription to read the list because it's terribly made.
Not a good list at all.
They'll get on Twitter eventually.
Does anyone? I feel like you buy ESPN Plus for all the like videos and streaming shit you could get.
I definitely buy it for like to watch like low level.
Here we go.
Teams.
Anthony Simons, number 100. 99, Chris Paul. 98, Mike Conley. 97, Herb Jones. 96.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, this shit lost me. Al Horford, 96. 95, Jalen Suggs. They respected him. 94, Keegan Murray. 93, Brook Lopez. I'll say this after last season. Jalen Suggs was better than Keegan Murray.
I'd say there isn't 90 players better. Maybe there is.
Yeah, agreed. 93, Brook Lopez. I'm sorry. Brook Lopez he fell off. 92, Jabari Smith. 91, Valanciunas. 90, Wiggins, too high. 89, Michael Porter Jr. 88, Isaiah Hartenstein. That was rude. Because Lively is 30 spots higher than he is.
How do these lists are just confusing? Because bro, like how are you going to compare Jalen Suggs to Hartenstein? And
ridiculous.
I don't know.
Nas Reed's 87. He should have been where Derek Lively was. Jaime Jaquez 86.
Damn.
He was
somebody's got to be in the 80s.
A whole 11 spots higher than Herb Jones. Lou Dort was 85. 84 was CJ McCollum. 83 was Marcus Smart. 82 is Mitchell Robinson.
83's crazy for Smart. I'm not gonna lie.
81's Miles Turner. 80's Jeremy Grant. 79's Fred. 78's AirPods.
Wow.
77. Yeah, way too high.
Too fucking high, I'll be honest.
77's Jaden McDaniels.
Too high.
Way too high. Him and Herb Jones could have switched and I'd been copacetic with
him
that.
And Anthony Simons.
OD. 76, Tyler Hero.
Too high.
On a contender, Jaden McDaniels is far more important than Anthony Simons.
I don't think that's what they're doing this off.
I think just saying player for player.
Valanciunas was in the top 100.
OD.
He shouldn't. I don't think he's a top.
I'm just making a case for Jaden. I'm not talking about the list.
75, Dante. 74.
Too low.
Yeah, that I don't disagree. 74, Zach LaVine.
Too fucking low.
73, Jared Allen. 72, Austin Reeves. 71, Klay Thompson.
Too high.
Yeah, way too high. 70, Bradley Beal.
Too high.
69, Jalen Green. He gonna move up the most
high.
this year. He gonna move up the rest
too
of this
high.
season. He's gonna be the biggest mover. 68, Brandon Miller. Way better than what that other guy was saying. That was terrible. 67, Cade Cunningham.
Too low.
Too low is right. 66, Draymond Green.
Too
65,
low.
Malik Monk. Malik Monk's not better than Cade. 64, Emmanuel Quickly. He's not better than Cade. 63, Chris Middleton. 62, KCP. Jesus. 61, yeah. 61, Josh Hart.
KCP. Josh Hart's crazy.
Josh Hart's not. Josh Hart wasn't on the next. Is he in the top 100?
Oh my god.
60, Desmond Bane. 59, Alex motherfucking Caruso.
Too high.
58, Kobe White. 57, Darius Garland. They still believe. 56,
Too low.
Derek Lively.
Too high.
55, Jaren Jackson Jr. 54, Alperen Şengün. 53, RJ Barrett.
Too high.
52, Franz Wagner. 51, OG Anunoby. What do you think so far on that?
I think OG and friends are fine with it.
Yeah, most of those 50s were right.
Yeah, those 50s were cool.
Okay, 50, LaMelo.
A little
If
too low.
if he was healthy, he would have been higher, but I
sure.
understand it.
He's top 40 if he's healthy.
Right there, that's the most understandable of healthy, injured, decent placement. 49, Aaron Gordon. That's where it kind of loses me because LaMelo is so much
Just
better
a
than
little
Aaron.
too high.
I'm fine with that. Julius Randle, 48.
That's fine.
Evan Mobley, 47.
That's fine.
That's fine for me too. 46, KP.
Who?
Porzingis.
Kristaps Porzingis.
I guess a little too low, but that's fine.
I got to hear some of these names.
DeMar
Yeah.
DeRozan, 45.
I'd rather-
Yeah, I'm cool.
Jalen Williams, 44.
Okay.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I would probably a bit higher. Probably.
DeJounte Murray, 43.
Yeah, that's too high.
Too high? He
I was gonna say
balled
I'm cool-
last
I'm cool
year.
with
Over
in the
Jalen
40s.
Williams?
I'm just cool with him in the 40s. I'm cool with him in the 40s.
I think he played very well last season.
He could even be in the 50s. I wouldn't even hate it.
DeJounte's not better than Julius Randle.
I don't think he's better than KP either.
I think they disrespected him off the injury a little bit too much. I agree. Pascal Siakam, 42.
Too low.
I agree.
Probably.
41, James Harden. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
I'd rather see
Yeah.
Too low.
For James?
I think James is like top 50.
Brandon Ingram?
That's fine.
40. Okay.
Based off his year, he's
Derek White, 39. James Harden or Derek White moving
James
forward?
Harden.
It depends what I need.
James
but
Harden.
more
As a
likely
better
not
player
Derek
is
White.
James Harden.
If I need someone to run an offense, of course it's James Harden.
At this point, though, when we get into this tier of players, it's not about who's a better player, who can fit better on a winning team.
But that doesn't mean I rank you in the top.
Yeah, I don't think that's how they're doing it. Because that's how they're not doing
It's
it.
just like top 30
bottom 50.
Yeah, I would take Harden.
James is a better he's a better scorer. He's a better.
It's just a better
playmaker.
offensive player. It ain't even
Yeah.
close.
Defense isn't close.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Derek is still a good playmaker.
Who's a better
He's an
shooter?
elite catch and shoot.
Depends on
Right
what
now.
you're asking.
Harden, 100%.
Yeah,
Harden's better off the dribble.
because he can create from.
He definitely
but
is. Catch
Derek
and shoot,
White's
Derek's
not a
really
bad off the dribble shooter.
And what Derek brings you defensively is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
like the gap is much bigger between them defensively than offensively.
I disagree. I think it's the same gap.
I don't think so.
I think it's the same
No,
gap.
Derek White is one of the best defenders in the NBA.
Yeah, James Harden's
James Harden's one of
cone.
the best playmakers in the NBA still at this
He
age.
is.
Playmakers,
I
okay.
agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
is he one of the best offensive engines in the NBA? Because that's just one aspect of offense.
Nah, it's probably not one of the best. He's still probably like top 10.
He's definitely top 10.
Yeah, he's
to
easily
lead
one.
an offense,
He's still
top
one of the
10
best
still.
passers
Y'all
in the
got the
basketball.
Clippers making the plan, huh?
No, I
I
don't got.
don't
I
be in the
got
hunt.
I mean, I don't know, bro. They could be the 13th seed if it's just James
if
Harden
Derek White
there.
was
The Clippers
there,
are
they'd be the
terrible.
15 seed in the NBA.
He'd be one game better with Derek White than James Harden.
Who? You're lying.
No, he's a winning player.
Did he lie?
He did lie.
I do think the gap's bigger defensively.
It's
than
easy to look
offensively.
like a winning player when you're around winning players.
Well, he
Okay.
contributes to that winning team.
Yeah, but it's easy to do that. He's like the fourth.
Like the
most
Celtics
important
won the
guy.
championship when he broke out into this.
I mean, you were in the finals before he broke up.
Did again,
sure, but-
did he lie
And
What?
James Harden's on
when
the
he
Celtics.
said they broke out into
They still win a
this
championship.
world-beating team because of
yeah, but
him?
I'd much rather Derek White.
One,
than
well,
James
one
Harden.
of the reasons because of him.
Nah.
I was gonna say he did not lie there.
No, he didn't lie.
Yeah,
No, he definitely is a contributor, but like,
He's a key contributor.
yeah, we're comparing once again.
like
role
they had
player
him
to
play
an all-star.
point guard a majority of last season.
For sure. If James Harden was playing point guard, they'd be the best offense of all time.
And Derek White isn't even their
Are they
main
this-
defensive
but-
stopper.
I don't disagree.
He's not even their second defensive stopper. He's their third. Probably four.
His
Depends-
off
it
ball
depends
is
on the
OD.
matchup.
His off ball is very much OD for
Because
him.
Drew Holiday's always going to take the best guard.
We also can't sleep on him
So
at the
protector.
rim.
That's why his off ball
He's
is OD.
really
As a help
good
defense-
at the
yeah.
rim.
He's the best rim protector
Protector
guard in
at
the end.
6. What is he? 6'3", and he can do what he does.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. So
Like
38,
6'5".
Mikal Bridges. I'm sorry, he's not. Derek
high.
White, give me Derek.
Too high.
Trey Young, 37. Disrespectful. Disrespectful. 36, Drew Holiday.
It's a little too high.
35, Scotty Barnes.
He's a winning player.
He
He
is.
is a winning player. Drew Holiday over Trae Young's pretty crazy. Not gonna lie.
Scotty,
Scotty's not better than Trey
a
Young.
little too high.
Yeah.
And I love Scotty. He's not better than Trey Young. 34, Rudy Gobert. Notice
too
the
high.
difference between him and Alex Caruso was not as drastic. I'm just saying.
What was it, like a 20 spot
20
difference?
spots. That's not
Just
crazy.
just a little too high.
It's definitely a tier gap.
Would you rather Rudy Gobert? Last big was
KP.
Pascal.
Not really. I wouldn't. They're not the same.
You understand what I mean, though. I'm just trying to be like
they're-
forwards,
yeah.
front court players.
Depends on my team. I'd probably rather have Pascal though.
Pretty easy, truthfully.
I mean,
and KP.
Indiana, I think
It
Indiana
depends on my team.
could rather have Rudy Gobert.
I think I might have.
That
I'd
would
rather
save
have
their
Gobert,
entire
I think,
defense.
honestly.
Yeah. True.
I hear where you're coming from. We're at 33. Laurie Markkinen.
That's fine.
Chet Holmgren, 32.
It's probably
Maybe a
too
little
high.
too high.
That might be a little too high.
He might be like 40.
Yeah, he's definitely in the 40 range.
Like I guess the defensive impact is fair and understandable why he's this high.
Pretty efficient player.
Agreed. 31, Jamal Murray.
A little too high.
I'm fine with that placement personally.
Yeah, I am
I
too.
think Trey
Better than
is-
Trae Young.
2 years
Fair.
ago,
Switch him and
Fair.
Trey. Switch him and Trey. I'll be
Perfectly
fine.
said.
Two
I
years
think,
ago, Jamal was probably top 25 on this list.
I haven't
Maybe
heard
top
Ja's
20.
name yet.
That's
no,
'cause he's in the-
Ja's exceedingly high.
His brother, he's in the top 15, bro. Like,
There's
He
not
is.
a gap between him and Trey.
there's a Grand Canyon gap between him and Trey.
Stop.
Grand
Stop.
Canyon.
Wait.
Stop.
I'm sorry. I thought you said Jamal. My
All
fault.
right, all
That's on
right.
me. That's on me.
All right.
That's on me. I apologize.
Damn.
I agree.
Damn. No, he almost lost me for
He
a
said
second.
Trey too. He didn't even say
Oh,
Jamal.
gee.
I agree. I was
Okay.
thinking Jamal
Yeah,
in my head, and that's my fault.
There is a seismic gap between John and
Yes.
Jamal. I agree.
Grand Canyon.
One's a winning player though.
Yeah, sure. I guess we can throw that winning shit.
Hey, when
It's
Ja
good
plays,
for an
he
argument.
wins.
It's good for an argument.
When Ja plays, he hasn't won a chip, obviously, but when he plays,
he wins.
30, Karl Anthony Towns.
Too high.
Sabonis, 29.
Too fucking high.
Who is
Cat or
that?
Sabonis?
Huh?
Cat or Sabonis?
I think.
No, you're lying.
I'm not gonna lie, low-key.
Give me Cat.
We're not going to pretend like he's an offensive engine.
I just don't want Sabonis to be my offensive engine.
What are you He led them to one of the most efficient offensive seasons in NBA
Too
history.
high. Too high.
Joel, where are you defending that? I know you're an offensive rating guy.
Top 30.
Nah, Cat's over Sabonis. At the 5.
Yeah.
Trey Young is over Sabonis. I feel like.
I agree.
28, Jimmy Butler. Too low.
Too low.
A little too low.
Too low.
Sure.
27, Zion. Too low.
Too low.
I'm fine with it though.
I get it.
Yeah,
Similarly
I
I'm
need
for
to hear
fine.
these
LaMelo
names
shit.
in front of him.
De'Aaron Fox, 26.
I would flip him and Jimmy.
I would have Jimmy above him for sure.
What about Zion?
Oh, that's what. With Jimmy,
I think I'd
I'll
have
put in
Zion
front of
above him too.
Okay.
It's close though.
I agree.
That's really close.
25, Kyrie Irving.
That's fine.
I
I'm fine
agree.
with that.
I think that's a good placement. 24, Paolo Banchero.
I'm fine with that placement.
Let me ask you, because
Okay.
I know you've been critical of his game in the past.
Over Kyrie's crazy. Kyrie's still a better player than Paolo.
I'd agree, but I'm fine with the where they're at in that.
Yeah.
Paolo
I don't
over
disagree.
Zion.
I'm fine with all of them being in that same area.
But
I
if
would
you-
have Zion over.
It's getting to the point where we nitpick.
I would
It
have
is.
Jimmy, Zion,
Agreed.
Kyrie, Paolo in that order. That's how I would have it.
I like that.
So you would just literally flip on it. What about De'Aaron?
De'Aaron would be before Paolo.
Yes. I have him right
Is
there.
Paolo
I'm
just
step
flat
to
out
step with
better
you,
than
brother.
Chet Holmgren?
I think he is.
Slightly.
Yeah.
I don't think like flat out. No. We can have a conversation about it, but I would take Banchero.
Because of the defense.
Let's take Paolo. Too.
Offensively, Paolo is better.
What he just did in this postseason too showed that he could be
He's
a
better, but
efficient
his
player.
offense isn't the greatest thing to see. You know, it's like
Paolo's-
efficient. Yeah,
Once you get spacing around him, I think we start
agree.
to see it refined
agree.
a lot more. And this would be a great step in the right direction. KCP, God willing, friends
No, for
figures
sure.
it
I
out.
It's really if you need the defensive Chet, but Paolo's 6'10", 6'11", and gives you playmaking.
And
also, but his shot diet too is just really bad. So
I also think that's in due
young
part to the
player.
lack of spacing and lack of secondary creator.
yes and no. I say yeah, sometimes yeah, for sure.
I think over time too, he could become just a smarter player.
Because
I mean,
you
it's
guys
your-
mentioned
what,
it,
3 for
how...
him?
Apologize, you were saying?
No, I'm just saying for his shot diet as he matures, because he's going into year 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Year 3.
I just think that's part of his game.
I think he was in the 20th percentile in shot
He took
quality.
a lot of tough middies.
But that goes into what I was going to say. You guys used the series versus the Cavaliers as an outlier because he was just hitting an exuberant amount of mid-range shots. But to me, going up against the Cleveland defense, that really was one of the better defenses. Being matched up with Mobley, which is one of the toughest assignments that you can have. Being as efficient as he
No, he was
was,
really good.
that's kind of where I feel even better about Paolo
I
coming
like
into the
I like
season.
what I've seen from him.
Number 23, Damian Lillard.
I'm fine with that for right now.
I get it too. 22, Kawhi Leonard.
I'm fine for that.
Agreed.
It's just ability. I'm fine.
Paul George, 21.
I mean, he's a little too high.
He's too
I have
high.
like late 20s.
John Morant, number 20.
You'd have
Not
Paul
too low.
George above Jimmy.
That's why I said late 20s.
All right, this is where I'm interested in your opinion. 19, Tyrese Maxey.
I think Ja's better.
Is Tyrese Maxey better than Trae Young?
No.
Is Tyrese Maxey better than Damian Lillard?
No.
Dude, is he?
He could be
might
better. This year he could pass Dame.
I'm expecting a bounce back. Hence why I'm saying no.
in both
Dame.
Trey and Dame.
Yes,
Dame.
that's why I'm saying no.
Maybe, you know what? It'd be something if I give up on Dame and this
What's
is
the
the year.
difference in what's the gap between Dame and Tyrese right now? It's not a
They're
big gap. It's
essentially
very,
the same player. Dame
would-
is just more seasoned.
Tyrese Halliburton or Tyrese Maxey?
Howie.
Okay. 18, Bam Adebayo.
A little too high, but I get it.
I'm fine with this placement too.
cool with
But
I get it.
Jimmy Butler's just
Zion-
way too low. Jimmy Butler and
Yeah.
Zion,
That's
they're
what's
just way
killing me.
too low.
They're
That's
too- they're
screwing
way
this
too
up.
low.
like, I'm fine with Bam being better than Paolo. I think that's more. That's right. That's a
I think
fair
Bam should be
statement.
in the 20s.
Is Bam better than Zion? Is he better than Jimmy? Is he better than
I don't know.
Then-
But they screwed it. Like they have like 4 names there that they really just messed
Kyrie?
up on.
You know, I agree. I think they really wavered.
Because ideally, all of these dudes
Ja,
are like
no.
4 names later, and I'm like, all right, that makes sense.
This one was a bad placement. 17, Donovan Mitchell.
Oof.
I think
Probably
that
like
was
a little too low. I'll probably
But
have him
only
a little
by
higher.
probably a couple
Oh,
spots.
yeah, who's in front? Depends who's in
Tyrese
front.
Halliburton,
I would
I would
flip
have
him.
Mitchell. I would have Mitchell.
Devin Booker. I'm
That's
fine with
fine
this.
with that.
But
Yeah.
15, that's
He
low.
might be low. It just depends on
Jalen Brown, 14.
He's too high.
No,
That's
that's
perfect
respect.
placement.
He should
Perfect
flip.
placement.
He
What did
should
ESPN
flip.
say?
He might be
should
top
They
flip.
10.
said he's the best two guard in the fucking league. ESPN knows what's up.
I don't
We
want
just
that.
admitted it.
Maybe ESPN knows what's up.
He should flip with Donovan. I'm fine with it.
Number 13, AD. I dislike
low.
it. I dislike
Who's in
it.
front
He
of
needs to be Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's not
have
better
AD.
than AD.
I get it after.
I
last
do get
year.
it, but he's not better than
Yeah, I agree.
This one was interesting. 11, Victor Wembanyama.
just too high for right now. But I get it. I get the glaze.
There's some projection going on for some of these players and not for others.
For the young ones, definitely.
For the young ones, they projected a ton. That shocked me when I read it initially. Victor was 11. Number 10, Anthony Edwards. So they said he was the best 2 guard in the league.
I'm fine with him here.
Makes sense. Wait, so they said Jalen was the best 2 guard, but then put
No. That's on me. I forgot that Anthony Edwards was still yet to be said. Number 9, KD.
I'm fine with it.
Number 8, Joel Embiid. That's wrong.
He's low.
He's a top 5 player minimum.
They're going to do availability.
LeBron James, number 7.
A little too low. But I'm fine with it.
I agree. This is where I expected LeBron.
As long as they have the 10 guys in it and the first 4 guys correct, I don't care.
Are you going to hate me when I say Steph Curry should not be 6?
What do you have him at 9?
He should be a top 10 player, most definitely. Yes, I would
Switch
have
him
him
and
over. I would put
LeBron, KD.
I would put KD 9, Steph 8, probably LeBron after.
Oh, no, I don't mind that.
Okay,
Yeah,
but I don't think Steph Curry should be above LeBron. I don't think he deserves to be above Joel Embiid.
At this point in time, if you need to win a championship this year, are you choosing Steph Curry or Joel Embiid to lead it?
I'm taking the guy who won it 4 times.
That's it. That's fair.
That's why I understand where Embiid is in these rankings, because I know off of ability, he's top 5 most talented player in the world. You can argue top 2, but he just doesn't play enough, and he doesn't show up in those moments as much as these other guys.
Off of what he's shown me last.
In the fourth quarter, he was terrible. He had more turnovers than assists.
Probably was gassed the
He was
fuck out.
inefficient.
He was.
The on and off numbers speak to his input.
He also had Bell's
obviously.
palsy. He was banged up in the series.
See, that's the problem. It's always when we talk about NBA, it's always we got to bring up, well, he had this, he had that. It's never could just be a flat out.
He hasn't had that yet.
Yeah,
really in his
so
career.
It's honestly the off ball that makes Steph Curry so great, and which is I can understand him being high on this list. So I understand. Number 6, Steph. Number 5, Jason Tatum. I'm sorry. This is where
Number 5.
Yes,
That's
no,
pretty easy.
no way.
He's top 10, but he's too
And
high.
I forgot that Jason Tatum was here. I think Jason Tatum's very comfortably a top 10 player, but he could be number 10.
Yeah, he's just a
know,
little
he's
too
number
high
10.
for me.
Number 4, Shea.
We're here.
Number 3, Giannis.
Yeah, the big 3.
Number 2, Luka, and number 1, Jokic.
Lucas Stewart.
Where was Brunson?
Brunson was 12.
Luka over Giannis
12.
is easy.
Right, Wemby was a little.
Luka over Giannis is easy for y'all.
No.
No, we can have a conversation about it.
I would
For sure.
have Giannis.
It's
personally.
the availability. That's really why Giannis has fallen off
I don't think it
to
is.
3. Well, last 2 seasons in the
true.
postseason, he's gotten injured.
That is true.
True.
And I think
I mean,
Giannis-
if we knock Embiid for it, which we do all the time, you have to start knocking Giannis at some
But
point.
the reason why they don't knock Giannis as much is because he
his.
has the postseason
He got his.
success.
It was also just really one time.
He made one run.
That he has the postseason success.
The
You're
year
saying?
before
Yeah.
he came back and they just got him, like they just lost to Miami.
And then the year after their chip, they lost to Boston 6 or 7.
So I don't, but he did get hurt last year. I just think like Luka, it's just really like 2-way big versus offensive god, and it's really a preference thing. Like that's really it for me.
Overall, the list was not great.
No, definitely some laughs, some
For sure.
ha-has.
For sure. I think the really bad part
Why
of
was
the
Scotty
list.
20 spots ahead of Kate?
Yeah.
It
I don't
was,
know. That top 50 was 50 to like 20, like that range kind of screwed up a lot.
I was about to say from 30 to 100, the list is really bad. Like 30 to 100, it shows who they favor, how they favor.
The top 30 has the names.
Correct.
Just the order
And I
don't
can
mess up.
understand certain placements of certain guys over another, but that 30 to 100 is
I'm
like,
so glad we'll never make a top 100
Derek
list.
White over James Harden, though. That's
should we make a top 100?
Fuck no.
No.
That's
It's
400
it would
names.
have to be, because I'm sure ESPN does it. It's a cumulative ranking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
consensus.
Why don't we do a top 100?
It's 4 of us. That's 400 names.
No.
Yeah.
Now, that's 100. Well,
Unless we build one together.
there
That's
has
exactly
to be
what I'm
somebody
saying.
that
Nah, I don't think
counts
we should do
everything
that.
for sure.
Well, it wouldn't be too hard to do it just in like fucking Excel or whatever.
No, if we all did it, we could easily come together on one.
Yeah, we could.
It's going to be a day when it's 2
I'll
versus
be honest,
2.
bro.
How are we
I
gonna
just
distinguish
don't
that?
want to write down 100 names and do a
It's not that. We just read 100 names.
We can do like one name a week. Like, all right.
That's it. You know what
For
it
the
is?
season,
Well,
this
we
is
can't
our
do
first.
we can't do 100 if we do one a week.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, we're
It's gonna
fucked.
take us 2 years.
We can do 2
Or we
a
just
week.
reveal one episode.
Yeah, we could.
Reveal one an
We're
episode.
2026 talking about the 2024 top 100.
However many basketball episodes in a week, we just reveal one guy an episode.
It'll
We
probably
have
just has to
like-
be top
We have
10.
to do like
each
20,
week.
bro. Because
Or
in
top
5
50.
weeks,
If we do 3
If we do a
episodes,
top 50, it's 25 weeks.
I'll be honest, but it's gonna be so because 25 weeks ago, you're not gonna feel the same way.
Agreed.
You have to do this in like
in the
50
This is
summer,
an
yeah.
off-season
It
thing.
has been the summer.
It
yeah.
is.
Listen, all right. So next offseason we lock in.
Like when we
Top
did
50.
our
We can do
32
five
power
a week.
rankings for
Five
football.
episodes.
I'm gonna be honest. We should do a top 100
Okay, I don't mind it.
because that 50 to 100
hilarious.
is some cute names.
It's gonna be funny.
I can't wait to shoot Tatum up the consensus. We'll put him at like 2.
I'll cancel it. I'll put him at 16.
And I'm not. You know what? I'm gonna have Luka 87th.
So on to NBA Eastern Conference predictions. Now I don't know how you guys want to break this up. If we want to talk about these teams by category,
Thinking like
because
tiers.
yeah, there's definitely a contender tier, favorites tier, playoff locks, and the play-ins, and then the teams that are tanking, and then we can give our standings predictions after. I guess the first tier we should talk about is probably the contenders or the favorite, and that's just the Boston Celtics.
I agree.
I think the fact that they won a championship last year with Tatum not playing so well and KP hurt kind of gives me an initial reaction that they might two-peat. But there's only been so many two-peats in NBA history. Most recently was the Golden State Warriors. You had the Miami Heat with LeBron James. You had the Lakers with Kobe. You had the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe. You had the Bulls with Michael Jordan. You had the Pistons with Isaiah Thomas. I don't know if the Celtics have that top-end player to do that like those other teams did. I think the comparison I would draw would be to the Pistons because Isaiah Thomas, Tatum, all time. Tatum could be better than Isaiah Thomas all time, I think, when it's all said and done. But those other guys, I think, are pretty untouchable. The Celtics just have the depth to do it. I think they have the best starting lineup in the NBA by far. And there's really no question marks about this team because they seem even more motivated because they didn't get any real credit for winning this year.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, it wasn't just that, but it's also the offseason where Jaylen Brown doesn't make the Olympic team. Jason Tatum doesn't play in like 80% of the Olympic games too. So that's another chip on their shoulder.
Jason Tatum not playing.
Yeah, we need him not to.
Now he's going to shoot 40% from 3 and the Celtics going to go back-to-back. Sucks for y'all. But I really do think the biggest competition for Boston is out in the West. Thunder, Nuggets. Those are like the two, I think, most difficult matchups for them. Just because the Thunder can go, I feel like, bar for bar in terms of depth. Like, they have talent 1 through 10, basically. And then the Nuggets, they just don't match up well with Jokic. But to bring this next set of teams in the list, what team do you think can challenge Boston in terms of entering this contender tier? I think we're talking about the Knicks, Sixers, Milwaukee Bucks. Unless you think the Magic or the Cavs, one of those other teams that are probably in that next tier can. Because for me, New York would probably be first up. Mikal Bridges, I don't want to buy too much into the preseason. Jumper looks real funky. Real funky.
It's hideous.
And if all of a sudden Mikal is just not a great three-point shooter and we're sitting here like a 34, 35%er, changes a lot about this Knicks team and kind of the offense they want to run. But from a matchup perspective, I still think the Bucks give them hell with Giannis. And Embiid too with the Sixers.
I would favor the Knicks. However, this Mikal situation is definitely one that I'm monitoring. He's supposed to be your 2/3 in terms of scoring the basketball. Of course, now with Karl-Anthony Towns, you expect him to be the number 2 and Mikal to be around that 15, 17 point per game. But this 3-point shot looks really horrendous. It looks like, and I'm not trying to slight Kyle Anderson. Kyle Anderson's a really respectable basketball player, but in terms of jump shooting, when we talk about visually displeasing jump shots, Kyle Anderson comes to mind. That's what his jump shot looks to me. Has a hitch. It's super long. It really looks clunky. And if you're going to lose that level of 3-point shooting, the whole idea is that we can play a 5 out. The Knicks can play a 5 out. That's the great concept of what we imagine about the New York Knicks going to this season with Jalen Brunson being able to drive to the basket, not have as many bodies in the paint now that because we know he's a great finisher at the basket, but if they do want to clog, then he kicks out and you still have the spacing on the floor. If Mikal's not shooting at that 37% clip, that's where things become a little bit concerning for me. But defensively, I still think they have the best answer for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I think that with Karl-Anthony Towns, that's an answer to go up against what you guys have on the interior. That's kind of what we speak about when it comes to beating the Celtics. Can you beat them from the inside out? With Karl-Anthony Towns, I know that he's the best 3-point shooter of all time. Dude, I said that perfectly fine. Stop being a slut.
It's just
you're a whore.
You really got to take it from the inside out with them. It's a fact.
It is a fact, especially with KP being banged up and not knowing his availability. That's an avenue that they can really take advantage of. But I would favor them because you look at the history you guys have in Philadelphia. You've handled them pretty comfortably. You look at the Bucks, of course, with Giannis, but I still don't know if I can feel overly confident in that team just based off what they've shown me last year defensively. And when it comes to health, they're an untrustworthy squad.
They're old.
The Cavaliers are just one of those teams that I just think that they'll always just be a really strong team that is not a contender. They can have a Pacers-esque situation where if they have a good bracket, they can make an ECF, but that to me is their ceiling, absolute ceiling, because I respect the talent on that roster. But really, outside of the Knicks, it's hard to find a team that I trust overly. And with Mikhail's situation right now, I don't know if there is a team that I trust more than Boston.
I think for me, to answer the question, I think it's Philly. I think it's a little bit of Milwaukee too, because I think with Boston, they kind of have answers for pretty much everything on the perimeter. I mean, we watched, Jalen Brunson, Damian Lillard. Those are two guards that are very effective with the ball in their hands. But I think when you have Derek White, when you have Drew Holiday, when you have Jaylen Brown, it's kind of going to make it difficult for them. They don't. I get what we've seen from the past with Al Horford, but I think Porzingis is going to have a real issue with guarding Giannis, with guarding Embiid, just because of the fact of his frame and how skinny he really is, and he's not as physical as other players. Like Al Horford's a pretty strong physical dude. I think those are the problems for them. I think somebody who can dominate them inside, somebody who can give them real issues, and then you plug 3 to 4 shooters around them, make them have to, cause double teams. That's a team that can really give them problems, which is why Philly and Milwaukee would be the teams that I can see give them the most struggle. But I think with Milwaukee, the lack of perimeter defense is probably going to haunt them. With Philly, their guys are aging. They're already dealing with injuries right now. But I think Philly gives me hope because Maxey always shows up in the playoffs.
For sure.
And if you can plug PG as the third guy instead of the second or the first at this point in his career, that's fine. Their lack of depth is going to hurt them. But I think Philly has kind of the Embiid, Maxey, PG type trio to kind of not upset them, but definitely make it really, really, really interesting. We watched Donovan Mitchell kind of give them hell in 2 to 3 games when they played him. I think Maxey is kind of the same type of build, 6'2", 6'3", really strong, can give you that type of finesse.
Quick.
Extremely quick, extremely fast, and he's durable. And I think that's why Philly, for me, in just terms of a matchup against Boston, is tough. Because I think New York, it's just Brunson. Like, I get Cat is a 20 to 25 point per game scorer in the regular season, but come playoff time, he's up and down. That's just what he's been in his career. And I think he's not as, physically imposing in terms of just dominating mismatches, seeing that he has a weaker link and going and being consistent. He's not like that. He tends to become pretty erratic with the ball if he is forcing it sometimes. So I think it really is just Brunson and then these other guys who I think are really good players, really good role players, but nobody you really are scared of to create anything off the dribble, which is why Philly, they kind of have 3 guys that can do it, 3 guys that can exploit mismatches and create off the dribble, which is why I'm leaning with Philly in terms of just that matchup versus Boston.
All West guys up here, by the way.
I was thinking the same thing, and also Wemby looks like he's in 720p.
He does.
Luka, it looks a lot cleaner on the left than the right side.
Yeah, Luka is
very interesting if you ask me.
That looks clean.
Yeah, Reed looks clean too.
Reed and Luka do look good. Nas and no, extremely.
Yeah, they're interesting.
John,
the biggest threat to the Celtics is the Bucks. It always has been. If they're healthy with Giannis, he's a proven playoff performer. They're gonna get a better version of Dame. Chris Middleton in the first round versus the Pacers showcased that he's still one of the better scorers in the league. He just has to take a back seat when it's Dame and Giannis' show. And I still like their depth. Given what the flexibility they had in the offseason, you get Gary Trent Jr., Taurean Prince, and DeLon Wright. Like, those aren't insane hauls, but when you already have an already established team, all you need is to get better marginally. And I thought that's what the Bucks did. The number one thing holding them back is health. That's it. It also concerned me that Giannis soft-launched a trade request for himself. I didn't like that too much, but he's not wrong. If the Bucks don't meet expectations this year, this is the last year of the Giannis era. And I think this year, Dame has a lot to prove too, because for the entirety of Dame's career, we have always said he doesn't have the situation to go far in the playoffs and to actually compete. He stayed loyal to Portland because he loves Portland, and that was his decision. But we can all admit it was the wrong decision if you were trying to compete for a championship. He finally gets traded to Milwaukee, and the Giannis and Dame duo was a massive disappointment. We thought it was going to be an offensive juggernaut. There was no way anybody can stop this in the league, and it felt like more so they didn't play with each other. They just took turns in the offense. That's how it felt watching them. So I think having a full training camp to get integrated together is going to do wonders for them. I just have too many question marks with the other teams in the East. Like my top 4 for my standings, I have the Celtics 1, the Bucks 2, worrying me a little bit because of their health, and I don't know if they can stay healthy. I have the Knicks 3. The Mikal Bridges jump shot thing, I think it's something.
I agree.
It doesn't look the same.
It's not nothing.
He is putting the ball behind his head and then shooting.
You saw Ant said that when he was at the free throw line?
I did see that.
Damn. Change your jump shot? Crazy.
I had the Knicks 3 because of the fact that 2 of our better players in Cat and OG Anunoby, I think, are a bit injury prone. And we can't afford to lose them in the regular season for any amount of time because of the lack of our depth. I have 4. I have the Miami Heat. And I think the key word for them is I think they're focused. I think this year's a different year.
A turn of events.
Pat Riley,
the hell out of that placement.
Pat Riley in the playoffs when he got embarrassed and Jimmy Butler was talking about how if he was healthy they would have beat the Celtics. He shut that shit down. And I think you see how Jimmy Butler approached media day. It was no antics, no changing of his hair, no different look. He is playing for a contract, and they need to have a big time season. And I look at every time the Heat have had a bad or disappointing season. They lost to the Bucks in the first round. They got swept. The very next year, they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals. After losing in the ECF, they made the NBA Finals the year after. And coming off that Finals appearance, they lose in the first round. I love the pieces they have on the team. You still have Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo leading it, but Tyler Hero, Rozier healthy with Jaime Jaquez and Jovic and Haywood Highsmith, and I think Khalil Ware maybe gets some burn. I really like this team, and Eric Spoelstra, I think, is going to have them prepared this season to go on a deep playoff run. I have them over Philly. We saw the injury scare with Paul George already with a knee injury. That's something I'm monitoring. Tyrese Maxey messed up his wrist a little bit when Jalen Suggs was guarding him. And he's probably going to be fine from that. But really, the big question mark is Embiid. He has already come out and said that I'm load managing this year. He's not playing back-to-backs. Philly, when Embiid didn't play, was awful last year. And their depth, I think, it got slightly worse this year.
Did it, though?
I don't think slightly. You plugged out guys and added an all-star.
They added Paul George. We went over it in another episode that the depth they lost was well worth getting Paul George. Scott Kelly Oubre back. They got
Drummond's the backup big. That, to me, was a huge addition.
I think Miami...
Jared McCain, they drafted too. Also, Jared McCain who got hurt.
If Miami missed Jimmy Butler for some time, they could fall, too.
That's the big reason why, in the regular season, we've seen them be average. Be that 8
also,
seed,
they
be in the
progressively
play-in.
got worse since the finals.
Agreed.
That team, even that team was a Cinderella team, and they have not improved. Like, they've improved in the draft, but they have not improved from that roster.
Well, they've been trying to get every star that ever becomes available, but they're never able to pull the trigger.
I agree with that, but Jimmy has missed 20 games. You have Tyler Hero missed 20 games. Bam Adebayo's the pillar. He is the heart and soul of that team. I know Jimmy, obviously, they go as far as he's able to take them, but he is the glue guy. He's the X factor because he's able to be there every single night. But the last 2 years, Jimmy and Tyler have been unhealthy. If they're locked in, like I believe they are locked in, Joel, you having them at 4 is fine. I have them at 6. I think they are a playoff team. I think they have one of the better foundations, and I think Jimmy obviously is playing for something bigger outside. Championship's number 1, but he's trying to get paid. He wants to get paid. He thinks he's worthy and deserving of an extension, like I do too. But last couple of years, you've been unhealthy. There's a reason why they're waiting to see if you can stay healthy and be able to bring Miami back to the playoffs and make another championship-esque run. So I'm completely fine with that.
The Sixers, their duo or trio, Paul George and Tyrese Maxey, how many games do they play this year? Is it more than 50 together?
Like together? Probably like 40, 45.
Okay. I was thinking 50, 55.
I could see 50.
I
you
think,
want them well rested for the playoffs. You don't really, you're going to make the playoffs regardless.
That's why I view the Sixers as a team that if they get the 6th seed, they're fine. They're walking into the playoffs and they just want to be healthy.
I agree with that.
And this is why, I think that trio together plays maybe 40 games this year. I don't think they're going to be that available in the regular season, just given the injury history of 2 of the 3 best players.
Say the same about Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Bam. How many games are they going to play together?
You could say that, but I think Jimmy Butler, I think he's gonna play through injury.
See, but that's
year.
a hope. Same with Paul George.
I think Tyler, I think Maxey and PG play like 60 games.
And I don't think Jimmy Butler
I think Maxey and Embiid. I understand Embiid's been injury prone.
No, he said he's not playing back-to-backs.
Agreed, but that still doesn't mean
Did
to
he
me
play
that
back-to-backs last year?
Yeah, he said this year.
How many
that's probably like 10
I do
games
not remember
off the board.
Embiid playing back-to-backs last year.
Maybe
He was missing random games.
he definitely rested for like those random games, but he also had big time performances against like the Hornets in October and nobody cared.
I mean, sometimes he'd have like 40 at halftime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, you know.
maybe this is just a question that I should know the answer to, but how many back-to-backs do you normally play in a season?
He'll probably.
It depends on the player. Oh, you're saying just teams in general?
In a season, how many
Definitely
back-to-backs?
get at least 5.
probably
Right?
about 15 to 20 times.
I was thinking 20.
So
yeah.
15 to 20 games.
It might be.
Embiid's gonna,
Yeah, 15,
you could
it might be
chalk
closer to
Embiid
15.
missing 15 games minimum.
I think 15 is fine. So let's play he plays 60 games this season.
That's assuming that he doesn't get hurt because he's already missing those 15.
Agreed. But let's say he plays 60 games this season. Maxey's good for around 70. Let's just assume he's going to be healthy. PG, that's my main concern, truthfully. I think he's more injury prone than I think Embiid is, weirdly enough, because Embiid just breaks down towards the end of the season.
Sixers
normally.
have 15 back-to-backs this season.
15.
So that's right on the
16.
money, yeah.
And so, okay, I'm fine. So I'm going to stick with 60. Let's say PG plays 55 to 60 games as well. To me, the combination of Maxey and Embiid will be good enough to win you ball games. We saw that all last season with a negative, in my opinion, in Tobias Harris. If PG can give you 50 to 55 on a better case 60 games, we are talking about a top 4, top 5 team.
Well, yeah, they're gonna have to because if Embiid's not playing back-to-backs, you're kind of gonna want to have to play.
No
PG
doubt.
on
But you could also
back-to-backs.
have those back-to-backs where you could plan it, right? I'm sure those back-to-backs where you're going to be playing Chicago, the Hornets, like you're going to have some of those games where the night before you could start Embiid, you're going up against Milwaukee or something, right? So when you're going to have the luxury at least to be able
and
to
choose.
decide between
Agreed.
the two. So you'll be able to get a few more. The other team I had, so my top seeding, I also had Boston at 1. I still have the Knicks at 2. I think regular season wise, this team's going to be fine. The McHale jump shot, I understand. There's real concerns. But even if McHale isn't a lights out shooter, this team should win so many regular season games because I think the rest of the guys could pick up for it. I have the Bucks at 3. I have the Magic taking a bit of a jump here and climbing into the top 4. Similar to a team we talked about in the West, I think they're a young and up-and-coming team. Of course, they add KCP, but I think there's just natural progression from a ton of their guys here. If Franz three-point shooting could just get back to like somewhat water and be a mid-30% three-point shooter. We know Paulo is a budding superstar at this point. Jalen Suggs had a breakout year last year. I think he's only continue to improve. And then Jonathan Isaac. Last year was like the biggest bulk of work we've seen from Isaac in some time. Of course, his injury history, you got to cross your fingers there, but we saw how impactful he would be. And then I have Philly at 5 because the injuries that are already piling up in the preseason are concerning. Plus, you got the Embiid news that we just discussed about missing back-to-backs. But I'm really excited for the Magic this year. And, of course, adding KCP, who's going to be, we mentioned it with the spacing earlier. This is going to be a huge addition and hopefully easier flowing offense for Paulo and the rest of the guys.
That tier in the East is interesting.
So hard for me personally.
The Cavaliers, Pacers, and Magic, I think, are 3 teams that can reasonably take a jump. Process of elimination, I eliminated the Magic. Just because I think that they're not much different than last year outside
KCP's huge.
improving defense, but
But they're also they're just a young team that I think is growing together.
Franz technically is. He's their offensive creator,
this is still a bottom barrel offensive unit.
but still one of the best defense in the league.
It could be top 20.
Yes.
Defense in the regular season.
It could be top 20.
But the one caveat that they have on their side is that they're young. And regular season, that bodes well with a young team. You're young, you have defensive effort that is top 3 in the league, let alone in just the Eastern Conference. You have a budding superstar in Paolo Banchero. You have a high-level player in Franz Wagner who can take a fringe all-star leap if he can figure out a three-point shot. Jalen Suggs is a great role player. KCP is a great role player. Wendell Carter is a very firm big, especially because he can stretch the floor.
Jamal Moses is a good coach, too.
And Jonathan Isaac is one of the best defensive players in the game.
I think all those things are right. They're correct. But this is why, by the process of elimination, I eliminated the Pacers.
But
because I think the Magic and the Pacers are different sides of the same coin.
To be honest,
all 3 of those teams, none of them really made improvements.
Do you mean you eliminated them out of your top 6?
No, I eliminated them off of the team that I think will make a jump. I think the team that's making a jump is the Cavaliers. Because I think they're a team that they can be a top 5 defense and it could be a top 10 offense.
I also have them really high as well.
I think the Cavs and the Magic are the same team.
But what did the Cavs do in the offseason?
The Cavs are better offensively.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I think that like in terms of two teams that like rely heavily on their defense, and just two teams with two stars. The only difference is Donovan Mitchell is better than Boncaro. Yeah. He's like a legit guy. And I think Garland's a much better playmaker than Franz Wagner. I think
he's
that's
back
where that's where the stigma is.
Listen, I'm putting my faith in Garland this season. I have the Cavaliers as my third seed. I have them as my third seed.
I have them fourth.
But okay.
I'm sixth.
Or I think fifth.
Here's the thing. In the regular season, seeding, we saw the Philadelphia 76ers be number 7. We've seen the Heat be 8 back-to-back years.
Cavs are another team, though, that deal with injuries.
I agree, but we saw them last season. They were the 4th seed. They were the 2 seed for a good portion of the season, and then obviously they did get banged up a lot, and they fell off a little bit. But I have the Celtics 1. I have the Knicks 2. You mentioned the Mikal Bridges point. Well, I still think they have a great foundation to be the number 2 seed in the league. I have the Cavaliers at 3. I think Evan Mobley's going to take a jump this season. And if Garland is out of his own head, he even vocalized himself, the game was not fun for me anymore because I was so worried about this injury. If he comes in clear-minded with Donovan Mitchell, that is still one of my favorite pairings in a backcourt in the Eastern Conference. You have number 4 for me, the Milwaukee Bucks. I could have been convinced to have them a little bit lower, truthfully. I believe in the talent. You guys know I love Giannis Antetokounmpo. My issue becomes, can I trust Brook Lopez? Can I trust that Chris Middleton's going to be available? Can I trust that Damian Lillard is now comfortable as the number 2 on a team? Are Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo going to play at a high level? We were waiting for it all last season to inevitably kick the bucket and now finally go in and take that leap. It never happened for us. It never happened for Milwaukee. Giannis is another one where he is a top 3 at floor. Can you be available for me come playoff time? Is there going to be a part in the season where you unfortunately miss a certain amount of games where now our seeding's impacted as well? That's kind of my dilemma with the Milwaukee Bucks, but because how strong they are foundationally, I'll keep them number 4. Number 5, I have Philadelphia. Number 6, I have the Miami Heat. I only favor Philadelphia over Miami because I believe that big 3, although we are already seeing PG get banged up with the hyperextended knee, I think they're going to be smart about their lineup. I think that Embiid, come playoff time, will be ready to go, but I don't see them falling out of a top 6. Maxey and Embiid, so long as those 2 are on the court at the same time. And it's a cherry on top if you have Paul George there available 50 to 60 games for me. I understand you bring back Kelly Oubre. To me, that was a huge keep. He was awesome for them last season. He was better than Tobias Harris, very comfortably. You needed a backup big that wasn't Paul Reed. You bring in Andre Drummond. That is a great add, especially for depth pieces, because now you don't lose that same physicality once Embiid's off the court, at least in that interior presence. That's kind of where I'm at with Philadelphia. And with the Heat, it was for me choosing the lesser of 2 evils of which team do I think can stay healthy, because I've seen the last 2 seasons, Jimmy Butler unable to stay on the court, Tyler Hero unable to stay on the court. And that's kind of where I was at with Miami. But if they are healthy, I'm kind of coming into this with a optimistic mindset. With Eric Spoelstra, how do you not be a top 6 team? So it was hard for me to leave Orlando. It was hard for me to leave the Pacers out of this conversation, especially because I love Orlando and what they're doing, the young foundation that they do have, especially Paolo Banchero. But these other 6 teams have a better core, a better foundation.
So I have the Heat at 8. Where'd you have them, Riff? Bless you.
Milwaukee was weird to me because I think I have Boston at 1, Milwaukee at 2. I think they'll win a lot of regular season games. They were winning with Adrian fucking Griffin, so
they were winning with Doc.
Yeah, they were winning both. So it's like
they won 500 with Doc.
Yeah, but I think Doc. That's another guy. Can you trust Doc? Because he made a report and said something about he's never had a hiccup or he's never had
failed.
It was such a lack of accountability. Like you could say all of them weren't
your fault. Can you go talk to your coach?
It was crazy. Like maybe all of them weren't your fault.
Just learning lessons for him.
Nah,
no failures.
Definitely
that's a Milwaukee thing.
Giannis also said it wasn't a failure because
they're aligned.
Nuts. But I had Boston 1, Milwaukee 2. I had Knicks 3, Philly 4, Cavs 5. I have Indiana at 6. Because I think, and the interesting part about this conversation is Cavs, Indiana, Orlando, Miami. Which of these teams can kind of usurp themselves in that conversation with the top 4 teams? I think, for me, the reason why I have Cleveland at 5 is just because I think they have the best player out the bunch. I think in terms of the regular season. Jimmy Butler, it's hard for you to convince me that he's going to be healthy and completely locked in for a regular season moment. Like it's really hard for you to convince me even like the last 3 or 4 years. Jimmy Butler has very much admittedly kind of told us in his way that he takes the regular season off. Maybe not off at an insane rate, but he's not playing at a superstar level in the regular season. And I think this team, Miami, it does have a few good players. I'm not going to say it's not a talented group, but just I think Indiana's going to play harder in the regular season. You know, I think Orlando is probably going to play harder out of all of these teams. You know, I think for the Cavs, you know, you've seen the same thing how you're hoping for with Franz and that 3-point shot getting the average. You saw Garland go from 38 to 41, get punched in his eye, then drop down to 36. You know, so you're expecting him, like you mentioned, to take accountability. You said he was dealing with that issue. Come back in this season, be back to what he was that year 4 season where he was a 21-8 guy. That's what you expect from him. You want him to come back to that. If you can get that, you can get Donovan Mitchell, who's going to be Donovan Mitchell, but you can also get some increased offensive load from Evan Mobley, which is the one guy they're really circling, they're really paying attention to. I think you have a lot more safer big three as opposed to Indiana, which is Hallie, Siakam. Who's that third guy? You're still trying to figure out that third guy. Yeah, is it Miles? It's still, you're trying to figure that out. Orlando, it's Boncaro. Franz is good, but who's that third? Is it Suggs? Is he going to be better than what he really was last year, or is he just a role player? And then Miami, it's Bam, it's Jimmy. You know they're going to do their thing. Tyler Hero, it's just going to be his waking moment? You know, is it going to be Terry Rozier? Is it going to be Jaime? So I think with the Cavs, they kind of have the biggest potential within their top 3 guys, which is why I have them at 5. And then, of course, they have a new coaching staff. So I think that's something I'm excited about, and Kenny Atkinson bringing a different vibe over there. So I'm more safer with Cleveland just because I know in the regular season Donovan Mitchell can punch out 50 wins if he needs to. With Miami, I love that you have them at 5. I think if they do all locked in.
4?
5. 4. Sorry. 5.
I have them at 6.
4, 6. I have them at 7. Same shit. I think if they are locked in, if Jimmy is undoubtedly locked in, you can definitely get a different Miami team. As for Indiana, it's really just about Hallie's health. Like, is he going to be healthy for majority of the season? Is he going to play like he did up until November, December, get an injury, and now he's kind of falling off a little bit from what he's shown you? I think Orlando, it's good to say you should see natural progression. I think Indiana's thinking the same thing.
For sure.
You know, we should definitely see some natural progression. We're getting Benedict Mathurin back. So that's somebody who we're locked in on at the 3. You know, I don't see much room for Jarris Walker to play, but Nemhart is going to, you know, you're expecting that. Aaron Nesmith can still get better.
Ben Shepherd.
You know, Ben Shepherd is probably going to get a lot of rotation minutes because of his shooting. You know, TJ McConnell is a steady backup point guard, probably one of the best backup point guards in the league. So, and Isaiah Jackson, he was really strong for them last year, especially in the playoffs too.
That's a fact.
So I think him as the backup behind Miles Turner is really good. So Indiana is one of those teams too that has probably like a solid 10-man rotation. It's just natural progression. Same thing with Orlando, natural progression. With Cavs, Miami, it's more steady vet play that you want to see from them, more consistent, steady. We've kind of seen it already. Bring it back to that, and then we could be good. But that's my whole top 6.
Yeah, the Heat, if we were doing like best chances to win the championship in the East, I think we'd all have that top 4. Miami would be the next team up because I feel like their biggest advantage is with Spo and with coaching. And night to night, it's hard to get that compared to like a 7-game series, right? A 7-game series, that's a huge advantage to have. But that's why for the regular season, I had them last out of this bunch because while I do agree they're all in the same tier, we're going on 3 years now since Miami has shown me like a really serious regular season. I know they battled injuries and this team is different, right? Jaime had a great rookie season. You got Terry Rozier. Things have changed, but until they show me that they're going to take the 82-game regular season seriously, I think they'll be probably about a playing team. And I think Indiana, you can make the same argument that I was making with the Magic in terms of internal growth. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell, I think what you said was true. So I guess moving on to this just next tier of like kind of play-ins.
Can I ask real quick before we move on to the
Sure.
What am I missing with Milwaukee?
In terms of what?
Like they're just stamped number 2 best team in the East.
I don't think so.
I think you can make an argument for the 3 teams that are 2. Like Knicks,
Milwaukee just scares me because you're this old, you're this injury prone.
Agreed.
Where's the growth really coming from outside of like hopefully Dame and Giannis work? It just feels like this should work. It should have worked last year.
It's like, why aren't they talked about exactly the same as Philadelphia and Miami?
I think
because Philadelphia and Miami in terms of our main guys. If they're hurt, our seeding gets messed up, and we can end up fizzling out in the postseason. That's just
I guess the last couple of years, I feel like for Giannis, he's just gotten hurt either so late in the season or the postseason that maybe just feels like down the stretch he wears out. And Embiid could get hurt at any point.
But Brook Lopez also, I know he's not the same player. I know that.
He's definitely regret. He's old as shit. I think just Milwaukee has shown you, like even last year, that was probably their worst year in just terms of just the way they've been playing, coaching changes, much in the media. And they were what? The third seed. In the East? Like they still was able to march through and get to a third seed.
I don't trust Doc really at all.
I don't trust him either, but I think in a regular season, I know what I'm getting from Milwaukee. I know if Giannis is going to give me 65, 70 games, he's a walking 30 and 12. Absolutely. So in the regular 1000%. Season, he'll get me 55 wins on his own. So that's why it's like regular season, 2. Playoff time, it's a little tricky. I think Milwaukee, in my opinion, is the easiest team to scheme up against, but it's going to be the toughest team to go up against because of Dame, because of Giannis, because of the fact that they have Bobby Portis and Chris Middleton if he is healthy. And they're going to have a shit ton of spacing around them. So I think that's why it's playoff time. It's like them at 2 makes more sense because Giannis, you can scheme against him, but you have the guys. That's the thing.
Yeah, not really if anyone has the guys. The most, you want to go to the play-in now? We're good to move on? Do you have anything to say?
The thing I was going to say about Milwaukee is just the fact that, like, I understand your concerns about Brook Lopez, but I think he does the same thing still. He shoots well, and he contests shots. That's what he does. I don't expect him to guard up on a perimeter, hedge up on screens. He's always going to be in drop. So that's something that could be exploited, but that's matchup dependent. And I don't think in the regular season it's going to matter that much. I think the Bucks have similar concerns, and I think at the top of the East, there's room for the weirdest thing to happen in the most random seedings possible. Because the Sixers healthy, you don't trust. The Knicks healthy, you don't trust. The Bucks healthy, you don't trust. The Celtics, they're the only durable team at the top of the East. Everybody else is a contender. They have injury concerns, even if you want to group in Miami into that category. So that leaves an opening for a team like Orlando, a team like Indiana, to make that jump because not only can they stay healthier, Tyrese Halliburton might get hurt, but he still plays through that injury. They have the best benches in the Eastern Conference, without a doubt. And that matters in the regular season to the point that the Pacers bench was still one of the better offensive units in the league. The Magic's bench was carrying a big load for them in the regular season, so I think those teams naturally have an advantage in the regular season and could rattle off more wins. But with the Bucks, I just think that they have more trustworthy players. Giannis and Dame, not from an injury standpoint, from a just on-court standpoint, I trust those two over any other duo in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, these younger teams also, when you're talking about these dudes that are all injury-prone, like these younger teams, number one, feel like they have something to prove individually as players. Like Hallie and Paulo feel like they have more to prove than Giannis does right now. Just in the regular season, if I got to take a night off, just as a team, like these are 2 of the younger teams in the NBA, right? Of course, I don't think either of them are the Thunder of last season, but when you have such a young group with superstars on each side and you have good talent around them, it's possible to make that jump. Again, I don't think they're going to be like number 1 seed, best record in the league type of good, but when you have that internal just growth from a team that's been playing together for multiple years, that's when you see it. The most excited team I'm about in terms of the plan, Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte Hornets are the team I'm most excited for in this next group.
Just take a 1 foot jumper.
Nah, I didn't see that.
I'm crying.
I can't. Charles Lee, of course. Shout out to Boston. LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller. I mean, he got the respect. I was surprised. Top 60, 70 player. He's like 67, something like that. But Brandon Miller had a great rookie season. He looks like he's going to be poised to have even a better sophomore season. Hopefully Mark Williams stays healthy. Miles Bridges, of course, you still have there. Josh Green they added as well. This is out of like all this next group. I'm not really excited for most of them. Like Atlanta, we've seen this a million times. Chicago, I don't really got much to say. Toronto. Yeah, someone has to be the 10th seed. Someone has to do it.
Yeah.
The Hawks are going to be good this year.
I'm going to be honest. I like the Hawks. I like the Hornets.
I like both.
The Hawks. I like the Hawks like individual players, like Jalen Johnson, Zachary, of course, Trey, obviously. But as a unit, I don't see them doing
what
much.
I like that they finally did this season was put size in defense. That was a priority for them. They did that when they drafted Zachary Richeche. You have Jalen Johnson. Dyson Daniels now can go and be that defensive menace. He's actually going to get minutes on the Atlanta Hawks. Bogdan Bogdanovic is still one of the better six-mans in the NBA. You know that he can shoot the ball at an insane clip. He's going to give you around that 15, 16 points a game. This is a very interesting roster because the big men too, Onyeka and Clint leave a lot to be desired. That's kind of the one part that I look at and think.
And DeAndre Hunter sucks.
For sure. DeAndre Hunter definitely would be a negative, but I'm excited for Zachary Richichet this season, especially off the trailer that we got in the preseason. To be honest with you, when we talk about our NBA awards, get ready to hear his name.
He might not start.
I think he will start, though. I think he will start.
Over who?
Whoever they have at the 3.
I don't know.
Is it Sadiq Bey still?
No,
I think the starting lineup right now is Trae Young, Dyson.
They have Hunter right now. Jalen Johnson,
and Clint.
Jalen Johnson's a lock starting, no doubt.
I'll be honest, he
about
should be able to start with DeAndre.
That's what I'm saying.
He should be, but again, who knows if they're like, you got to earn it.
Has an NBA size, can defend.
I just think the Hawks' direction's good. I think they have wings that can shoot, that can defend, and that's how they're trying to surround Trae Young.
It's a lot on Trae's plate this year.
It is. Sure. Yeah, I mean, the rest of your offense is Dyson Daniels.
It's just going to be staying there and wait for me to pass you the ball and shoot it.
It's the best offense.
If you make it, you make it. If you
All
don't,
the top offenses play like that, essentially.
Jalen Johnson's going to take another leap.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Jalen Johnson is also going to be a part of that equation. Yeah, Charlotte is interesting. They have a lot of talent. I think they have a lot of players. Does LaMelo... I saw this question on Twitter, and I want to ask you guys. Based off LaMelo's game style and the way he plays, does he seem like the biggest or most obvious playoff dropper to you?
Just because of his shot diet?
Just the way he plays.
I just think LaMelo is the single most overrated point guard in the league right now.
All right,
okay, here we
go.
The way he gets talked about, it's like if he's in the tier of Tyrese Halliburton and these other top echelon guards.
I don't think we're putting him in that tier.
I think
LaMelo
Ball.
It's a tier below.
We just have to be truthful about his game. He's a negative defender.
Oh shit.
When we talk about offensively, yes, he can pass the ball. He's a very flashy passer in transition. He's awesome.
Be careful.
How many advantages does LaMelo Ball actually create in the half court? He doesn't drive to the basket at a high enough rate. He settles for a ton of 3-point shots. His shot quality is not the best. When you ask that question about playoffs dropping, I mean, can we even see him get into the playoffs first? Another concern with him is durability.
All right.
I mean, his play-ins be looking a little funny.
The main concern. Let me not say only. The main concern with LaMelo is health. Let's not let's also.
There's no other concerns with his game.
No pain pressure.
The main concern.
Of course,
health.
It's always health.
Number one for LaMelo is health.
Now let's get on to the basketball related stuff.
You talk about playoffs. Can he even get there with a worse roster? Pretty bad one. Let me not say worse. A pretty bad roster 2 years in a row. His rookie season, they were playing. It wasn't good. But we also have to remember he was coming off a broken hand.
Oh, okay.
Got to remember that. Rookie. Second year, no excuse. Was not good. Simply was not good. No way around it. Was not good.
Okay.
However,
it's not the same player. It was young LaMelo.
He also hasn't stayed healthy these last couple of seasons. No. But what I have seen, one, he has been an all-star, but damn it, that jump shot when he's playing is very good.
What?
And he's on a lot of attempts. I don't disagree with the shot attempts. I think it's partly a mindset with LaMelo. Understanding that he was playing on a roster that was not really going to compete, he got a little lazy and a little complacent with the way that he does play offense. And I agree with you. His ability, his drive to go downhill to get to the basket was limited. I think now with this team that is starting to shape out a little bit and things are becoming a little more clear now that you have a trustworthy number 2 in Brandon who can go and get a bucket of his own as well, maybe we'll start to see LaMelo's game evolve a little bit. But your criticisms aren't off base, really. Not really hasn't been a great defender, but I also would pair that with the fact of similarly how with the Kings and De'Aaron Fox and his defensive effort prior to the team really becoming a great cohesive unit. He wasn't known as a great defender.
As much flashes as Fox did, though?
Yes.
As a defender?
No. I agree. But I think LaMelo has the size. He has the athleticism.
Yeah, he's 6'8".
He has the traits to be a solid defender.
Do you think
in this league?
LaMelo has the intangibles to actually lead a playoff team?
And this is, again, it's a fair criticism. I don't know.
I think in 2 years, B. Miller's the best player on that team.
It's a good chance.
Like LaMelo, to me, I just look at the way he plays the game and the way he carries himself and how he leads this team. It doesn't move me. I don't have belief in that. Like, I don't have belief in a LaMelo-led team. I remember dating back to Anthony Edwards in his second season, and they're in the same draft class. The way that Anthony Edwards just talked in the press conferences and the interviews, I thought they were going to take a major leap. I swear.
I knew it always comes back to
Ball.
him,
But then
man.
when we talk about Jalen Hurts and his quotes, yo, shut up and go
Loki.
play ball.
LaMelo Ball, to me, I just, you see those videos of the Hornets
on
team
a roof
going
running
to
Mario Kart.
they're just buying a shit ton of jewelry and they're just hanging out. That's what they do. It's a very young team, so I'm sure that's what it's all about there. But it just feels like more to me, LaMelo, he just wants to have fun playing basketball. Doesn't matter if he wins or not. He just wants to put up really good stats.
Question, because I think I have a rebuttal-like question. We saw that with the Houston Rockets, right? We saw the same type of vibe.
On seriousness.
And then Ime stepped in. And then you see them now, the team is bonding. They're all of a sudden having private workouts, private practices together. They're a lot more serious, a lot more dedicated to the grind. Do you think that was more LaMelo or just the Charlotte infrastructure and the coaching? Because we saw Jalen Green and them be the same vibe. And then they got Ime, a no shit serious, I'm coming in here to win. He sets the tone. The players follow. And I think Charles Lee is kind of coming from that Boston Celtics. Like he coached under Ime too, right?
Yeah.
So he's coming from that tree. So do you think that's more infrastructure? Or do you think that's just LaMelo vibe?
What do you think? That is LaMelo's
That
vibe.
is a great question.
But
fair
also
question.
underrated, bringing in Dylan Brooks, bringing in Fred VanVleet, bringing in two veterans who've had success in
Also,
this league.
that accounts for it too.
The Hornets didn't do that. You know what I mean? Like they didn't really bring in any veterans that are really going to contribute. It's still a young team, so you're relying, because obviously Ime showed in Boston he's able to switch it around really quick. He has a huge part in it, but having those vets that can show these players too while contributing on the court, that's where the Hornets is the biggest disconnect.
Let me
John
ask
Wall
you
was there
guys,
prior.
did LaMelo already got paid, right? He already got a max contract.
Yes, he got paid.
That's another thing. It's like players that get paid and there's been nothing to really show for it, and you got paid.
Like when Andrew Wiggins got paid, his first time.
LaMelo's stats were good, but what real team success did we have? You already got paid. Where is that extra motivation coming from? It has to come internally.
Yeah.
And I don't know if LaMelo strikes me as a player that is just all about winning. I think he strikes me as a player that, like I said, just wants to have fun, and it's great. And I think he's one of the best players to watch. And I'll watch the Hornets on League Pass. But in terms of what they're going to be, I think this is very much Brandon Miller's team for the foreseeable future, not right now. And this season could change that trajectory if LaMelo shows up. But Brandon Miller is the highest player that I'm on that team.
To me, LaMelo being on the court inevitably helps Brandon Miller. Understanding we talk about the level of playmaking that LaMelo does bring, the way that they can get out and run. I think this team can be a fast-paced team with Miles, with him, with Brandon Miller. Tajon Saliwan,
not terrible.
He also really played well in the preseason, showed that he can really space the floor. The concern for them is defense. And also Mark Williams. They kind of shut him down last season trying to preserve his body. You understand the defensive presence that he also holds for the Hornets is definitely a strong one. If they come in with a good mindset, they are a talented young team. I understand. I'm not going to sit here and say your criticisms of LaMelo aren't fair, because there's a sense of a lack of maturity in LaMelo. But with Brandon Miller now here with a legitimate number 2, a legitimate potential star in this league, LaMelo now can have a little bit of sense of, oh, I got a running mate now. I got someone that we can really go night in, night out, and we can go out and ball. Look at what he was doing with Miles Bridges and the way that they were throwing lobs and offense was exciting to them, and they were playing pretty decent basketball when they were in the play-in. Now you have a high-level player in Brandon Miller. If LaMelo can stay healthy, this is going to be a fun team to watch, genuinely.
Yeah, I think
he's still on the team, right? Miles Bridges.
Miles Bridges is.
You know that. Yeah. Don't try to act like you ain't know that. You know that. You know that.
The energy level drops down even more now.
I think this year it's a firm play-in. It's hard to project with this Hornets team though, because they're still super young. For them to make any sort of leap, I think they need to get vets in there, because if not, just building with these young players, I mean, they can eventually. But I don't think having like this 3-4 year rebuild, I don't think that's what the path that should be. I think Brandon Miller within that time frame is going to show to be the dude on this team. And if you have to decide between the two, not that you will, but there's a world where LaMelo, Brandon Miller, just not the cleanest fit, you know? So, I mean, there's a chance that it doesn't last that long.
I think B. Miller's game is really, really portable. So I think he can probably fit with any guard.
He can do anything.
Yeah, I also think I think the mission should be for Charlotte. playing this year. You know, you work your way up. You got a little money next year. You spend it in your offseason. Keep riding these young players in LaMelo. Wow. Keep relying on these young players.
You don't really like outside of those two guys. Like what's the
Mark
other?
Williams is a good player.
Mark Williams is good. It's just the injuries have been.
You know what I mean? One season to be fair.
He's only been in for 2.
No, but they shut him down. He was good to go. They kind of shut him down because they were trying to. I thought it was a decent idea.
It's a big year.
So
if Mark Williams gets banged up again,
I think Mark Williams. I believe he's a very good player.
That's how you say it.
Are we
I agree.
in agreement?
I have the Hawks better.
The Hawks are better.
I have the Hawks better.
The Hawks to me are the number 9 for sure.
Perfectly said.
I have the Hornets at 10.
Okay, yo.
But this is the thing.
You've been in the lab.
I
That's exactly what I have.
The Bulls.
What?
If they don't trade Zach LaVine or Vucevic, they can unintentionally be very competitive.
Well, the Hornets, the GM already said that they're a playoff team, like that they want to make the playoffs. So GM or owner.
After the top
Hornets
8
should go get Zach LaVine.
I think the Bulls can be just as good as the Hornets.
I don't
if
know
Zach
if they need
LaVine
Zach
is
LaVine.
healthy this entire year,
I think he'll be.
I don't think Zach LaVine is what the Hornets need.
Hey, brother, let's get him off. Just get him somewhere. Now, I think Zach is all the way fucking locked in
I
this
think
year.
the Raptors. I think they suck. I don't think they're gonna be good this year.
I have them as like the 12 seed.
Yeah.
I have them 11.
Hot take. Nah, I'm not gonna say it.
Who's gonna be the worst team in the East?
The Nets.
Wizards.
I have the Wizards.
Oh, I had the Wizards. Yeah.
Really?
So after the top 18, you think the
They're
top
so
8
bad.
are in a tier not of their own, but like
Yeah, I
it's
think
all
very
top
comfortable.
8
to the
I
top
don't think
8.
any team 9 or below is
top
making
8
the
are
top 8.
legitimate playoff.
So there's no team 9 through 15 that can surprise.
I'd be shocked.
I'd be appalled.
I'd be definitely.
If there's one that you had to take a chance on,
Detroit.
why is it the Hornets?
It'll be Atlanta for me.
It would be Atlanta just because Trae Young's the most
I just think
proven out of these guys.
I think there's more upside with the Hornets because they're a younger team.
I don't know. I think Atlanta's comfortably better than Charlotte.
I agree, but I feel like with the potential star talent that is the star power that is on the Hornets, that's kind of where I
Trey
lean.
combines. He's better than both.
And also,
Salyuan's
Salyuan's going to be an immediate impact role player. I do firmly believe that, especially with his skill sets, with his ability to pick and pop. That's going to be something that we look forward to seeing. I want to see how this offense looks in terms of structure. What kind of offensive sets are they going to run? Where you have LaMelo as the lead guard, how are you going to run it where you're trying to still get Brandon Miller? Obviously, you want to get him his opportunities as a scorer, get him into his spots. Yeah. But then Mark Will, you want to use him as a rim runner.
Wasn't LaMelo off the catch? He was a pretty good shooter.
Yeah, he was. And agreed.
If I remember
but that's
correctly.
where my issue is. Who's your other primary ball handler?
It's going to be Beam. He has to.
But that's another. Trey Mann, does he enter that conversation?
I like Trey
definitely jumping in there.
So I mean, there's definitely some pieces to be entertained or excited about. Micic, if I'm pronouncing his name right, big.
I would personally start LaMelo, B. Miller, Salyuan, if I'm saying his name right. I hope I am.
Josh.
Bridges and Mikal Bridges.
No Grant Williams.
They have I think they're starting Josh Green over.
Yeah, I would prefer that because you're running a 6-7 up lineup and then the 7-foot center. You're just going big and you're going moving fast, running up, transition.
Off the bench too. I agree. I think Salyuan needs to start. I would
personally rather just start.
I would like it.
With
Needs
LaMelo.
a strong word.
Like you can play with a good playmaker.
But then off the bench, Grant, Trey, and Josh Green.
It's a good bench.
That's pretty firm.
Yeah.
They just need another big, honestly, outside of Mark.
Plumlee there?
I just said the roster.
No, I think Plumlee's on the Suns.
Sorry.
Nick Richards.
Oh, he's solid.
Yes. Yeah, he's firm.
Solid.
He is
Nick
solid.
Yeah,
He
it's
is solid.
not a bad team. My Eastern Conference predictions: I have the Celtics, Bucks, Knicks, Heat, Cavaliers, Sixers. My top 6. The 7th to 10th range, I have the Pacers, Magic, Hawks, and Hornets. And then 11 and 15, I have the Bulls, Raptors, Pistons, Nets, and Wizards.
That's fine with me. I have number 1 Celtics, 2 Knicks, 3 Cavs, 4 Bucks, 5 Philly, 6 Heat, 7 Orlando, 8 Pacers, 9 Hawks, 10 Charlotte, 11 Toronto, 12 Bulls, 13 Pistons, 14 Nets, 15 Wizards.
I have Celtics, Knicks, Bucks, Magic at the 4 seed, Sixers, Cavs, round the top 6. Playing teams, Pacers, Heat, Hornets, Hawks, and then these teams that won't be making the play-in or the playoffs, obviously. Raptors, Bulls, Pistons, Nets, Wizards.
Colorado's butt fucking Arizona right now. I love
Nice.
it. My playoff locks, I have Boston, Milwaukee, Knicks, Philly, Cavs, Indiana. Playing teams, Orlando, Heat, Atlanta, Charlotte, Cooper Flag sweepstakes, Detroit, Toronto, Chicago, Wizards, Nets.
So you think the Nets are going to be worse than the Wizards?
I really think it's a toss-up.
I think the Nets have a couple better players.
No, they'll trade half those players by deadline.
Dennis Schroeder gone.
Probably.
DFS
Cam
should be
Johnson
gone.
is definitely gone.
Laker.
Sure.
That's a Laker.
What's your percentage on you saying Laker and there not being a Laker?
A lie.
You think, like really, like you've missed
a lot.
Yeah. So he's not going to be a Laker.
I mean, D'Lo, he came. Vanderbilt, he came. Everyone else, no.
Yeah,
that's about it. AD. I mean, that's all I really asked.
That one was obvious.
Yeah,
it just felt like that was like
I was lit.
Now, before we go into the Western Conference, Mikal Bridges' jump shot, something or nothing?
Oh, it's something.
In the middle.
No. Look at it.
It's in the middle.
Look at it.
What if it goes in?
How
It
often is he
hasn't.
going to go in?
That's the issue.
In the regular season, what if it goes in?
What is it? He's 2 for.
Why
10,
did he
2
change
for
his jump
12?
shot? Why is it different?
He said he's been trying to change it for 3 years.
Mikal Bridges in the preseason, 2 for 19 from 3.
That's
God.
very concerning.
I think. Do you guys put more stock in that or what he's shown you over the last 3 years?
Well, he doesn't look like what he's looked like in the last 3
The
years.
jump shot doesn't look the same.
That's very true.
I think it's something.
I'm gonna go middle.
fugly.
It's something. Maybe it could be nothing.
I think it's something. I can't look at 2 for 19 plus how ugly it looks with the hitch and say it'll be fine.
I saw
in regular season.
I saw him go to the rim and then do a snatch back, and I laughed because I knew that shit wasn't going in because it was off the dribble.
You know, sometimes off the dribble though, it could get a little smoother. Like in 2K,
it's
you do a
Mikal
dribble.
Bridges.
You know?
That shit wasn't going in.
Why did he change his jump shot, though? I don't feel like he ever needed
Was
to
he like
change
a
it.
40% three-point
I
shooter?
saw a report that said
He
he'd
was.
been trying to change it for a while. I don't know why, but
How do you change your jump shot and that's the final result? Respectfully. Respectfully.
I don't know. We're not NBA players. Maybe it feels better for him. I don't know.
I feel like this was a win for the Nets. They got all their picks back from
The
this
Nets
deal.
are up.
The Nets are definitely up. Now go get more picks.
Yeah, I mean, Mikal shot going back to 2019, his second season, 36%, 43, 37, 38, 39, 37, 37. Like, you want to, of course, become a 40% three-point shooter. That'd be amazing.
He's a
But
good shooter.
37 for everything else he brings you is more than good enough.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Career 37.5%.
NBA Western Conference predictions. This is the better conference we know by a mile. In the Eastern Conference, there was 8 teams that can make the playoffs. The next 2 teams really don't matter. I think in the West, you can go 11 teams deep that are going to be competing for a playoff spot. So I think before we get into that tier of the West, we can talk about the top 5 teams. I had the Thunder, Timberwolves, Mavericks, Nuggets, and Suns.
In that order?
As my top 5 teams, in that order.
All right. I have OKC to no one's surprise. I have the Nuggets 2. I have the Mavericks 3. I contemplated here with this 4 and 5 spot, but decided to favor the team that did sweep this other team. I'm going with the Wolves, and I have 5, the Phoenix Suns.
Mine's probably going to be a little interesting. Regular season, I have OKC at 1. I have Minnesota at 2. Dallas at 3. Denver at 4. I have the Kings at 5.
Okay.
Kings are 6 for me.
I have Thunder 1, Wolves 2, Mavs 3, Nuggets 4, Suns 5. So, I mean, all pretty similar. I think you're the biggest difference between the
Nuggets at 2?
Yeah.
My thing that is concerning me is how is this spacing for the Wolves going to look on a regular season basis? What's the starting lineup going to be? Because I feel as if you're forced to start Dante DiVincenzo because you do need spacing. That's where I'm at. I'm not sure how this offense is going to look for a full 82 games. I know this defense is going to be elite. That's just one thing we know for a fact. But the genuine concern for me becomes creation, offensive creation on a consistent basis, spacing, playmaking, just offense as a whole to me is a genuine concern for the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's kind of where I'm at. However, I look at my top 3. I have to respect the Dallas Mavericks, as obviously I've been deemed the Dallas Mavericks hater for fair reason, understandably so, but I still believe where I don't know if it was drastic, I believe they did marginally improve in certain aspects. I look at the number 2, Denver Nuggets, what I've been seeing from the 3 guys, the Peyton Watson, the Christian Brown, and Julian Strawther, who's really played well in the preseason. To me, those 3 will remain my X factors for the entirety of the year, but Riv, you were vocal about them being your best starting 5 in the NBA. Probably have them in that top 3 range because, of course, I respect the Boston Celtics. I really love what is happening over there in OKC. And you have to respect the Nuggets. You have the best player in the world. You have one of the best 2s in the NBA in Jamal Murray. Aaron Gordon's one of the better defensive players, one of the better role players, and MPJ is one of the best shooters. And number 1 is obvious. Okay, Oklahoma City Thunder can be in contention for the best team in the league. You just give that nod to Boston because they accomplished the main goal of winning a championship. I think top to bottom, you look at this roster, what are they missing? Isaiah Hartenstein coming into the season with an injury definitely is a bummer. You would have loved to see this team at full strength. But that's where I think these three teams separate themselves from me, because I know the Mavericks are going to be awesome offensively. Defensively, are they going to be as strong as last year? As strong can be the question, but they're foundational pieces. You have Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford holding it down in the front court. You have PJ Washington, who's still on this roster. He's going to be an awesome defender. Najee Marshall's going to be a pretty solid defender for them as well. You have spacing on this floor offensively. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, one of the better offensive duos, if not the best offensive duo in the association. I just think that these three teams are better than them and a little bit more trustworthy. The one counteractive point would be the Wolves beat the Nuggets in the Western Conference playoffs. Why would you favor them? I just look at Jamal Murray being injured. I look at just the overall foundation of the team. It just didn't seem as if they came ready to play in the second half. I really believe the Nuggets will be and will have a bounce back season. They will impress. They'll be the 2 seed.
The Nuggets with Jamal Murray, just bad playoffs, bad Olympics. It kind of feels like things are trending down. They're champions, and I think the heart of a champion exists, and they could have a bounce back year. I just kind of have my concerns about just how deep their bench can go. And that's why I have Minnesota as the 2nd seed. I think the spacing concerns are true within the starting lineup, but their bench is the best in the Western Conference, and you can argue the best in the NBA. They have 2 6-man of the year candidates, and I think even if they have an injury in the regular season, they can kind of stay afloat because of how many good players they have on their team that can eat up regular season minutes. And I think there's another leap from Anthony Edwards in store. I don't think he's done improving. I've seen what he's done in the playoffs, elevating his game. There's still room for him to improve as a mid-range jump shooter in the regular season, being smarter, and I think he will get to that. This is a player that I think right now is quite easily stamped a top 15 player in the world.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And I've seen lists that have him as high as number 5, like Jason Timslip from the volume. And right now, I think that's premature, but I think it is a realistic scenario that after this season, he is that high, because I think he is that special of a player. So that leap, I'm heavily taking into account when I'm looking at what the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be. And last year, Cat missed a lot of time, and they were barely out of the 1st seed. They were the 1st seed for the majority of the season in the West, and then OKC took a lead on them. But really, it was a 3-team race between Denver, OKC, and Minnesota. In the regular season, I have concerns with Dallas because of health. If Kyrie Irving gets hurt, which he is injury prone to do, it could drop them in the standings. But post-trade deadline, the Mavericks were 21-9, and they had the 3rd best record in the NBA in that span, a 70% win percentage. And this is the year that I think things click for them more in the regular season.
Yep.
So that's why I have them as a top 3 seed. I don't know if I trust Denver too much. They're one of those teams that I know what they've done in the past, and it's easy to believe in Jokic, but really outside of Jokic, who do you really believe in on that team?
I still believe in Jamal Murray.
Come on.
The version we just saw, Jamal Murray?
He was hurt.
I think he'll be fine. It's Jamal Murray. I'm not tweaking too
And
much.
But
MPJ
what's that?
is still a great player
I
as well.
saw the Joker be a 6 seed with Facundo and Campazzo.
Yeah.
I mean, Jokic gives you such a safe baseline. I just had those 3 teams over them. OKC, we've discussed a lot. Minnesota, the depth is great, right? The depth is fantastic. I don't think really the spacing, adding DiVincenzo, Cat's a better shooter, and especially being a big, it changes kind of everything with the spacing. I want to see Ant improve as a playmaker. That, for me, is his number one thing, because his jump shooting in the playoffs was out of this world good. I don't know if it can continue into the regular season, because we're talking like KD levels of efficiency he was shooting at some point, especially early in the first couple of rounds. But if he can improve as a playmaker, that's where this team can really unlock something special. Because I think ideally, if Ant becomes an above average playmaker, and then you could all of a sudden put out Ant, you could put out DiVincenzo, McDaniels, Julius, and Gobert, and you could have Conley come off the bench. That gives you your best starting 5 out there, but also not taken away from the playmaking that Conley gives you. Because right now, I don't know if Ant's a good enough of a playmaker to be the number 1 dude for the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? So that's where Conley plays a big factor there. And then Dallas being number 3. Last season, you mentioned, especially after the trade deadline, this was, one of the best teams in the NBA, bringing in Klay Thompson. More than anything, though, Derek Lively, I think, is going to have another leap in him going into the second season. It just seemed like he improved month to month last season, really showed out in those playoffs as well. most curious about what happens with his offense, right? Because I think defensively, we see what he can be and what he is right now. And that's being a really, really good rim protector, still having ability to switch out onto the perimeter. He's super athletic. But if there's any world where this 3-point shooting thing is a real thing, and because the jump shot looks good, he made, one in the finals and everyone was going crazy. But there's something there, and if that could get worked on, and he becomes an actual 3-point shooter, this offense takes a whole nother level. That's terrifying when you have Luka being able to play make the level he does. But Denver does fall to 4 here. Jokic, the baseline and the floor is just so damn safe with him that like minimum you're winning 50 games. That as long as Jokic is playing in 70 of those, you're probably winning 50 of those games. Still think Jamal Murray is going to be great. Aaron Gordon does what Aaron Gordon does. But over these last couple of years, I feel like you can't lose the Bruce Browns and the KCPs and then just continue to be number 2 seed after number 2 seed and making these runs. I think we saw last year they fell a little short. Then this year they didn't do anything that makes me think they're going to be improved on what they were from last season. We're expecting Strother and these other dudes, Christian Brown. You're expecting Watson. Them to take a leap, but it's like, damn, bro, like losing KCP, that's not just going to be some fly-by-night thing, and it's not going to be a massive loss. He was one of the most important pieces to your team. Like, he was contributing to that best 5 in starting basketball, and just, taking him out, putting Christian Brown, I think there's going to be a fall-off there. Again, they're contenders. They have Nikola Jokic, the best player in the world. I think Jamal Murray, any given season, can play like the best number 2 in the NBA. But I would just have them last because I really struggle with the pieces they've lost over the last couple of years and relying on these young guys.
Where do we rank in terms of vibes amongst these top 4 teams? The Nuggets, they're like last,
they're last.
Right?
Vibes?
Yeah, OKC's 1.
They're always last.
Minnesota or Dallas, I don't know.
What was the question? I apologize.
I just think the vibe with Denver's off. I think the vibe is off. There was a report that came out that Aaron Gordon, he might not get the max contract for Denver.
He shouldn't, but I don't. The reason why that's a problem is because you've let 2 pieces to your team walk because of money, because you don't want to go into that second apron. And now you have Aaron Gordon, who's been such a key part to this team.
Max is crazy.
He doesn't deserve the max, but that should never leak out because it's a bad look.
Would you give Aaron Gordon the same amount of money that the Knicks just gave OG?
No, I wouldn't even give OG that money.
40's insane.
I wouldn't have gave OG that money.
I'll give him what Isaiah Hartenstein got at most.
What was that, like
Isaiah wasn't even supposed to get that. Like, the dudes are going to get overpaid. Like, that's just what it is.
I think that's a fair...
Right?
That's fair value for
30 is valid. 30. I would have gave Aaron
4 years,
Gordon $30
$120
million.
That's a fair contract.
I'm very iffy on
40 is
players that are on
40's insane.
Contract
OG,
year
man.
Players with a team that's already let 2 players walk away. I just think that the vibes are kind of off. Jamal Murray really coming off of 2 terrible performances in high-stake moments.
I'm not here with you. I'm here with the vibes. The Jamal Murray, I think, is going to be fine.
You're done with Jamal?
I'm not done with Jamal, but Jamal at his best is what, the 8th best point guard in the West?
We were having conversations about him in the top 5.
In the regular season.
You scared me because I had some tape from you.
Jamal Murray at his best is the best second best player. You know what I'm saying? Like, the best Robin in the league.
He's the second best Robin.
JB?
Of course.
No, of course. Yeah, I would have Jalen Brown. But 2 years ago, he was the best Robin.
Low key, is Jalen Brown even Robin anymore? Like, that's just...
He's better than Tatum.
What's her stock on Michael Porter Jr. right now?
He's going to be what he's going to be.
I'm here.
Yeah, he's
Michael
going to be a
Porter
3-point shooter.
He's another one that should
I'll do anything for Michael Porter Jr. on the Lakers.
He's another one that I'm just like,
Yo, but if he just decides to throw a pump fake now and then and drive and go downhill,
I don't think he becomes dangerous. His back is fucked.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, his back's pretty bad.
But he is an elite shooter.
Yeah.
If you don't pay... I mean, what's your other option if you don't pay Aaron Gordon?
You're fucked.
Draft well.
My one thing I will say is Russell Westbrook is going to continue to be a negative. I do believe that wholeheartedly. He has not played well for them.
They're going to rely on him this year a lot.
And that is what kind of brings me concern, mostly in the playoffs. But he is a huge energy bunny. He's going to go out there in the regular season. He's going to play his heart out. I still believe the foundational pieces of this team, and Julian Strother will be in contention to start. That's how much offense he will provide them.
I have a hot take, but I don't think the KCP loss is going to be as bad as people think.
Because Julian Strother's him, or because Christian Brown and him can...
I just think Christian Brown's a more pluggable defender, if I say it correctly, because of his size, his athletic ability.
Okay.
Like, KCP can't guard certain players. Like,
he guarded Ant better, Christian Brown did.
I think Brown is able to guard bigger or stronger players than KCP because of his frame. He's able to guard faster players because of his athleticism. I mean, KCP... he's a good defender, and he's really good at getting deflections and steals. He's good in the passing lanes, but just one-on-one basis type vibe. I like Christian Brown's size and physique a lot more than KCP. He's like my thin, like KCP. No offense to KCP. He's skinny like me. He's small. His frame. He's probably. I think he's a little shorter than Christian Brown too. So, and I think defensively, I think they'll probably get even a little bit better defensively. I think the shooting is fair, but I think KCP is a bit inconsistent in the shooting department. Like, I don't think he's the greatest shooter where you're going to lose so much in that department. I think where you'll miss a lot is his off-ball movement, which is really important for this team, like how he's able to come off pin downs, how he's able to keep moving and keep being consistent in that regard. And of course, his hustle and stuff like that. He was a really good hustle player for them. But I do believe in Strawther as a shooter, and I believe in Christian Brown. So I don't think that's going to be the big deal. I do think Minnesota is probably one of the deepest teams in the league, though. I think them, OKC, Indiana, Houston, those are like the 4 best. Orlando, probably like the 5 best benches in the league. Yeah, like those teams. Like Minnesota's bench is going to be sometimes at times better than their starters. Like that's how good their bench is going to be, which is why I have them at 2. I have Dallas and Denver right next to each other. The Kings, for me, I think I have them at 5 because they're just going to be the healthiest out of all these teams.
I had the Kings at 6.
So I think they're going to be consistent every night.
Man, here I thought I was like, yeah, I'm the Kings guy.
I think they're going to be really good. Like I think just in terms of the regular season, they're going to be an exciting, fun team to watch. They have 2 of the best fourth quarter players per the award in the league on their same team. You know, they have kind of the same guys they brought back last year, so the cohesiveness, the system is still there. I really do like Mike Brown more than the average NBA fan. I think he's a really good coach.
Great coach.
Just unfortunate situation where he doesn't have the greatest defense. I expect Keon Ellis to continue to improve. I think this defense won't be the best in the world, but it'll be good enough, and I think this offense will be high-powered. And I think there's a world where Fox and DeMar Sabonis can work. You know, I think it would be exciting. You do have Keegan Murray, you have Keon Ellis, you have Malik Monk. So this is going to be a really good team. I think Kevin Huerter finds his jump shot back again this year. You know, and of course, a lot of these.
My least favorite thing you've said.
Yeah, a lot of these stuff is really just projection based. But I think they have enough shooting. I think they have enough size. You know, I think the backup big spot is still in question. You know,
Definitely.
But I do like this team in the regular season. I think this team is going to be really good. I think they'll be really healthy. They're already well coached, and which is why I got them at 5.
Defensively, they could. Maybe this is my hot take. They could be around a top 12, 13 unit.
Oh,
I 12. Keegan Murray took a huge jump defensively.
I just don't think they'll ever have the rim protection
Keon,
to be top 12.
Okay, and that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
They got some good perimeter defenders, though, for sure.
They'll be able to guard at the top, but when you get beat, it's like...
I want to think of Keon Ellis. I was like, because most improved, I was thinking for someone just different, but he's just not going to have opportunity to be.
You got to
score
to be that.
But he's going to have that type of impact, you know, because he got on late in the year last season. So the fact that he might be... Is he going to be starting in this lineup?
Probably.
Well, he could probably come off the bench.
Yeah, it's facts. So you have Keon Ellis, so he'll, you know, that defensive nasty, that three-point shooting.
Keegan, DeMar, Sabonis.
Yeah.
Run Keegan at the 3, DeMar at the 4.
Either one, you can split it on. Right.
I have a line drawn after the top 4 in the West. That's kind of where
I agree.
I think the next tier starts with Dallas.
Suns can't enter that?
I contemplated putting the Suns at 4.
Me too.
So how I view Dallas is going to be really quick. Imagine if Quentin Grimes went to their team like 2 years ago.
If it was 2 years ago, for sure it'd be up. But
I don't think Quentin Grimes is a bad player, though. I think
his jump shot fell off a cliff.
It's a wait and see.
I think if they get a good version of Quentin Grimes with everything they did this offseason, they could be a much better team.
That's the one thing that lost me with the comments that we received from the fans when they were saying, do you guys forget that what Quentin Grimes can bring to this team?
He's
really
severely
good
better
shooter.
than Tim Hardaway Jr. Probably at their best.
There's a lot of players better than Tim Hardaway right now. That is a for sure fact statement. But Quentin Grimes was not good last season.
He was also hurt.
He was, but also when he wasn't, he was not good.
Well, he was hurt all year.
But then the year before that, he also was not
that's the year
good.
he wasn't
in the
good.
playoffs. Because in the regular season, he played good defense and shot well.
When was the
Quentin Grimes going to be what, the 7th man? 8th man?
Quentin Grimes, he might be like the 9th, 10th.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like,
okay, maybe I'm thinking incorrectly. Last season, you guys traded Quentin Grimes
to
Detroit, and you got Bojan and you got Alec Burks.
Last year's when Grimes played like shit.
He was terrible.
Yeah.
He was not good. And in the postseason,
the year
you're
before
100%.
that, he was good. He was better.
But that's what I'm saying. I am thinking of this season. Riv, you kind of threw me off for a second.
Well, no, because I said he was hurt. He was hurt.
He
last
was
year.
hurt, but also when he was healthy, he was objectively a bad, negative player.
Well, but he wasn't really healthy all year. He was kind of dealing with a lot of injuries.
What I'm saying is,
it's just because he was
on the
playing.
Knicks, was he hurt?
Yeah.
Was he? Why
Just
don't I
'cause he was-
remember
he
that?
was definitely just missing shots.
I thought he was hurt when he played. He only played
You
20
have to
games for
fact-
you guys.
So he
fact
just
check
kind of like
that.
fell out of rotation.
What I'm saying
That would
though is
suck,
2 years ago, if the Mavericks were to trade for Quentin Grimes, you'd be like, wow, that's like the perfect fit next to Luka in minutes because he can defend and he can also hit shots. If they get 80% of Quentin Grimes once was, and he's just a good defender and a serviceable shooter, I think it makes their bench that much better. And that's why I think they can still stay afloat with injuries because you also have Spencer Dinwiddie on the team. Like they have some nice depth on this team that can keep them afloat.
What
in the
injuries are
regular
we
season.
talking about? Spencer Dinwiddie's not replacing Kyrie or Luka. Like,
Yeah, so he was
Luka's the only
dealing-
one that can't get hurt.
Yeah,
But
you're
I
not
think
right.
Kyrie, if he misses some time,
Dinwiddie's-
you could survive.
Can you
with
argue
Dinwiddie,
PJ
Quentin
also
Grimes.
can't get hurt?
PJ who?
He's very important to them. But
PJ Washington.
then you play
can't
Najee
get
Marshall.
hurt.
yeah.
So I
no,
can see that.
PJ, you could live with.
Now I only say that
Respectfully,
because
I'll be
I
honest,
think
if your team is sitting there thinking if PJ gets we're doomed,
no, because I think legitimately now the perimeter defense takes a huge hit.
I think
I
Najee
think
fits
PJ's
in.
going to be a part of the perimeter defense.
I think he's going to be a huge part of it.
I don't think so.
I think he may be the main piece of it,
He's going to guard wings.
which is still the, I guess not the, but still
he's
the
not gonna be
perimeter.
Yeah, but he's not like I don't think he's going to be that
Getting all
point.
technical on me.
I'm just
I
thinking
don't
either
think he's going
protect
to
the
be a point
rim
of
or you
attack
protect, you know.
defender.
He might be forced into that position though.
Because Clay can't do it.
Clay's
They don't
done.
have enough. It's Kyrie, it's Clay,
Clay's defense is not
Luka,
good.
obviously, and the big. So he's gonna have to.
God bless.
After the top four,
I'd rather put Kyrie
I have
than
two
PJ.
teams, and then there's another
Kyrie.
line drawn.
It's crazy.
It's the Suns and the Lakers, and after the top four, I think the Suns are going to take a jump.
You don't think the Kings are in that mix?
Not with the Suns and Lakers, no. I think in the regular season,
In
sure.
seeding, that's where I
Sure.
guess.
Yeah, I think for playoffs, absolutely. I'm not
Agreed.
having the Kings in this conversation.
Yeah.
For regular season, though, they should get a lot of wins.
I look at the Suns, and I think if they just get a little bit better on the margins, they're a 50-plus win team easy. They won 49 games last year. Bradley Beal was hurt. Devin Booker missed some time. Kevin Durant was the most healthy of the bunch. Of course, injuries are a concern with them and the Lakers, but Mike Budenholzer just fits this team. It's an offensive identity. Last year, Frank Vogel was a defensive coach. It just didn't mesh well. And
Found it.
I like Ryan Dunn a lot.
I'm sorry to go back on this. So yeah, last year,
He played 45 games with the Knicks.
he was dealing with a hand in November, illness in December, knee in January, knee in February, knee in March.
Did he
March.
miss? Was he missing games because of this, or he was just tagged with an injury?
This is just his injury history. Yeah, so I couldn't tell you. It's just I, know
I
he
think
was
that the
dealing with
Mavericks
something.
are going to get a good version of Quentin Grimes.
I mean, all he needs to be is above average.
I can't.
Like
I just don't
10,
know.
15 minutes probably.
I can leave it up to the, hey, he was once a solid role player. I'll give him that benefit of doubt, but I can't say, yeah, I think it's going to happen just because he was so bad last season.
What's their
I
projected
like
starting lineup?
Quentin Grimes a lot. I mean, Derrick Jones Jr. was a minimum for them, and he was good.
He was amazing,
Yeah.
considering. And that's another thing that blew my mind. It really did boggle my mind seeing all the people that really propped up Derrick Jones Jr. once just be like, now the casuals are overrating Derrick Jones Jr. He only got good because he was with the Mavericks and only after the trade deadline. It's like, how about we acknowledge, yeah, that's true. He figured it out.
But also, when you're a role player, you have to be a role player on a good team. A role player on a bad team, no one
Cares about you. No, like Denny Avdia doesn't get brought up. Nobody cares about Denny Avdia in the grand, but the ball knowers know what's up. Derrick Jones Jr. is now a casual name. That's where we're getting to the point where he was their main point of attack defender. He was their best defender. You lose that. That definitely stings, but that's why I give respect to PJ
But that's
Washington.
not why their defense was elite.
No.
the
It was a strong
Mavericks
part, though. Strong part, though.
It's their fake zone defense they play.
'Cause I think the Mavericks fans were
force
tight.
everyone to.
And also, their bigs.
Yeah, the
Gafford,
bigs is the
Lively,
real.
yeah.
Like they got their
Derrick
bigs.
and
That's
Gafford.
That's the main thing. I think Mavericks fans are just mad because it's not that they don't like Derrick Jones Jr. It's just that everybody's saying they got worse because they lost Derrick Jones Jr.
And I never said they did. I objectively say they got. I just didn't. You said they got drastically better. That was my wholehearted disagreement.
It's always semantics. So it always comes back to.
Love the semantics vibe.
That was a great.
My next
debate,
team's
though.
up. Well, I'm assuming
Suns.
My
Kings.
5 and 6 are the Suns and Lakers.
I got the Suns and the Kings.
like
I
the-
could see the Lakers being in this too because I really think after those top like 5 teams, because I do think the Suns at 5, I feel pretty comfortable with. But 6 through like 10, it could be within a game or two.
I can tell you my 6
So
to 10
you're
right
not
now.
a JJ Redick guy, huh?
Oh,
No, I think the Lakers could be 6. I think they could be 8.
I have the
I don't
Lakers
know,
at
10. It's probably 6.
I
They
have
probably
the
a bit of a higher
Lakers
ceiling.
at 8.
I have the Lakers at 8 as well.
I have Suns at 6, Memphis at 7,
Me too.
Lakers at 8,
Me too.
Dehls at 9, Rockets at 10.
So you don't have the Warriors.
It's really hard to get them there.
Because I didn't have the
undefeated in
Warriors.
preseason.
I didn't have the Warriors.
I
in
really
either.
don't watch preseason. I'll be honest with you.
You also
Melton
played the
was good.
Lakers last night, who didn't play anyone. You had like most of your
we beat them
starters.
3
in.
times, actually.
Okay, I was just talking about last night. I didn't.
No, I
watch
don't like. I think the Warriors are good. I think all these teams are good. But I think it's gonna be a point in the season where Steph's gonna gas out, Draymond's gonna miss some time, and you're just gonna be stuck with 8 role players. I think with all these others, like with the Lakers, you have LeBron and AD. You have LeBron and AD who can rely on each other. Even the Pels, you have Zion and Brandon Ingram who you can rely on each other. You know, the Kings, you have fucking DeMar, Sabonis, Fox. You can all rely on each other. Phoenix, you have Bradley, Beal, Booker, KD. Like you have somebody to rely on. And Draymond Green, I can rely on him on the other end. But offensively, this seems like a team that's going to be really exciting. And if I see everything go right, sure, they can be a 9th seed. They can maybe even be an 8th seed. I can see that. But at the same time, this team last year, injuries, fizzled out in the second half, suspensions, team not functioning well, guys getting benched, stuff like that, dealing with contract. It was just so much going on. Like I can't trust them to stay healthy. And that's why I have them at 11.
Yeah, and outside of just Curry wearing out at some point, also Steve Kerr, this has to be his best coaching job. Arguably, like since winning championships aside,
It's 2022.
this has to be his best coaching job because outside of having Curry and Draymond Green, you have a lot of guys, and Pods and Kuminga, all these guys are in the mix, but I think it's going to be a lot of pressing the right buttons, whether who's playing well at the right time, because you're going to have Buddy Hield, the game where he's on fire. You're going to have a game where Buddy Hield goes 0 for 8. Are you going to be able to make the moves at the right time to have the right players on the court? Because you mentioned it, Riv, like you have your superstar in Curry, you have your superstar on the other end and Draymond Green, but outside of that, it really is like 8 role players.
They're all good, but it's like, fuck you want me to do with
Nah,
them?
absolutely. But yeah, I have the Grizzlies 1 spot over the Lakers. So outside of 5 and 6, I have the Grizzlies at 7. If John Moran is healthy and you're telling me he's playing 70 plus games, this team is getting to the playoffs. I think that's what he's shown over these last, or I guess I should say healthy couple of seasons. Of course, think a couple years ago where they're the number 2 seed. Team's a lot different. And of course, they're already dealing with some injuries early on in the season. But you have Ja, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson, that core that you have, Marcus Smart too. That's going to be a really good team. Lakers at 8, excuse me. I do think the JJ Redick thing is the biggest deal out of all of this. I think JJ is a huge upgrade over Darvin Ham. Dalton Connect has been playing phenomenal in the preseason as well. Obviously, we weren't expecting him to put up 35 or whatever in a preseason game, but we were expecting him to be able to contribute day one, right? This is a guy that was a 4-year college player, right? 4 years?
Yes.
4-year college player. So you're expecting him to be able to contribute day one. The fact that he's already showing it in the preseason is huge. He should be able to come off the bench off rip for this team and really help them out. And other than that, I mean, it's mostly the same team that they had last year. You're telling me you got a healthy LeBron, you got a healthy Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves has been getting better, D'Angelo Russell, we know what D'Lo is.
I saw
it's a good team though.
Something where it dropped the top 10 picks that were 4-year players that have been drafted in like the last 4 or 5 years. Like 9 of them are bad.
Yep.
So like the track record of like drafting a 4-year player in the top 10, it's not like
he wasn't top 10.
It was 17,
16,
something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
17.
So it's like
good value.
drafting like high 4 3-year players high. It's like low value.
And then my 9 and 10 seed, just to round it out here, I have the Rockets at 9. I think they make a mini leap from last season, right? They finished at 11. They get into the play-in. Pelicans and Warriors, that was really what it came down to me. Who's that final team that makes the play-in? I think the Pelicans are more talented. Like, obviously, Steph's the best player. But then if you list, like, everybody else, of course, you have Draymond in there. But you're going to have, like, 5 Pelicans before you get to the next Warrior. I think they're the more talented group just as a whole. But not having a big... I don't know how you're just going to run Herb Jones at center and just be like, night to night, we're going to be fine. We're not going to get killed on the glass. We're not going to get killed on the interior. Herb Jones, all-NBA level defender, one of the best in the NBA. To ask him to play center seems a bit crazy to me. So that's my biggest concern with them. But I end up just having them over the Warriors because I think you're asking a shit ton for a 35, 36-year-old Steph Curry to carry this team in the West to win, 45 plus games to really secure yourself a play-in spot. 40. That's what I think the 10 seed was last year, about 44, 45 wins.
They was the 10 seed.
Yeah,
year.
so it's going to be really difficult to ask Steph to do all of that. And it feels like you're just one injury away, right? If Steph goes down for a couple of weeks, you have teams even behind them that potentially could climb.
So my 6 through 10 I'll go because I did have the Suns 5. Like I said, I contemplated putting them at 4. Number 6, I do have the Kings. I think they're just the definition of a regular season team.
I agree.
And we saw them contending for that 5-6 spot all last year until Malik Monk went down, and that's what put them into the play-in. I think that they will be a durable squad this year. I do have them at the 6. Adding DeMar is huge. Keon Ellis now having...
He's also really available, like in the regular
For
season.
sure.
Like, DeMar does not miss games, ever.
What I'm hoping for the Kings and Kings fans is that Keegan finds his stroke again. That's a huge missing piece for them last season. If he comes back to that 37, 38%, I think this offense can be really great. Number 7, this is where I do have the Lakers. To me, I tried to stay... not too biased, but to me still be fair and reasonable with them. I think our roster is awesome. I don't know if we're a regular season team like we've proven not to be these last couple of seasons. But with a improved head coach, just off the assumption that we don't have Darvin Ham anymore and we have a guy that can use advanced analytics to our advantage and also just common sense. Hey, let's go out and put the best starting 5 that won us basketball games last year and let's actually run that at the start of the year and not wait until January to do so. Hopefully Vanderbilt comes back and he's healthy. That'll be a huge boost for us defensively off the bench. And you mentioned Dalton Connect. I feel like we could have used...
Your depth kind of scares me.
My only concern...
Because you're running out your best starting 5, which is your 5 best players,
Absolutely.
of course, always. But after that, it's a rookie, and then it's Vando. Vando's cool defensively.
Who's your backup big? Is it Jackson Hayes?
A backup
they don't
big,
really have
no,
one.
it's Christian Wood.
Or Jackson Hayes.
Or Jackson.
I don't trust Jackson Hayes.
I don't hate it as much as I hated it when we first got him.
Okay.
I think that
Gabe Vincent is their backup point guard. I don't trust Miami players outside of Miami.
I desperately think that we needed a backup center, though. I'm not going to say you're wrong about that, but Wood and Hayes, it could be worse, could be a lot better. I don't disagree. I think Drummond was available, and we should have went out there and re-brought him back to the Lakers. But you have Gabe. You mentioned Dalton Connect, Vando. To me, I understand that it's not the sexiest of names, but with our starting 5 being as good as it is and as strong as it is, I don't hate these rotational pieces. That's fair. I definitely get that. If Gabe Vincent can come in and just be serviceable, a respectable role player.
We didn't really see Gabe Vincent play at all last season.
Which was kind of crazy, honestly.
And then Max Christie's another one that we didn't speak about too. I think that
he should play.
I think he should definitely get an uptick in minutes.
He got a $30 million contract. He should get minutes.
He's gonna get. That's more wait and see. Like same with Duncan. Like wait and see.
So at number 8, this is where I do have the Grizzlies. I spoke about it. I'm not as confident as I once was in this offseason because of all the injuries that they do have to their starting rotation. But still, like you guys have mentioned, you respect John Moran, his ability to play winning basketball. Desmond Bane has only gotten better. Marcus Smart, obviously, is one of those foundations. And Edey is going to be interesting. One of those guys that we could be talking about later in the show. He could have himself a solid rookie campaign. Number 9, I'm with you, Dehls. I think everyone here is on the same page with the Rockets. They definitely do take a boost. They do take a jump this season. You guys know I've been vocal. I love Jalen Green. I think that he's an awesome basketball player when he plays at his absolute best. But the issue is we've only seen that for 1 month of the year last year. If he could just be that player, the 70% of that player for the entirety of the season, I think the Rockets are a genuine, solid team. And now Sengun can be back and healthy, ready to go. Hopefully you get a boost or a leap from Amen Thompson. You still have Federico there. You still have Dylan Brooks there as a good defensive foundational piece, or let me not say foundation, but a strong defensive piece. And now you have Steven Adams there too, which gives you a presence down low. And you guys should be one of the better rebounding teams just off of his presence alone. And Jabari Smith Jr., who has only improved year to year. I have the Golden State Warriors number 10. And that hurt me because
over the Pels?
Exactly. And that definitely hurt me because you guys know I love my Pelicans. But damn it, you're starting Herb Jones at center.
God bless.
What are we doing? What are we doing? What do you want me to do as the guy who supports the Pelicans on this show? How can you have me go out here and believe in a Herb Jones lineup where
Zion's
he's playing center?
Probably gonna play the 5. I mean, the Herb's like gonna be the off-ball defender.
It really doesn't even matter. You just need to.
It's an issue either way.
Yeah, I think they just have to move CJ McCollum to the bench and you start somebody at the 5,
or move Brandon Ingram for a bit,
or just rush Ves Misi and start him at the 5.
Yeah, that's a possibility. just some
Off
rebounding.
necessity. Off necessity alone, if Vesme's going to be...
Tice? They have another
Tice,
big, right?
I think it's starting. I think he's going to be projected to start.
Yeah, I feel the highest on the Suns, though, in the West amongst all these teams. I think the Suns are going to bounce back
Over
in a
the
big
Lakers?
way. Over the Lakers, yeah. I think the Suns are a better roster top to bottom. And there's something I like about first year, you ain't get it done, and there was kind of some things you had to work out. And second year, new environment, new coach. I really believe in that a lot. The Lakers are my next team at 6.
They're both the two biggest boom teams for me.
You know, I think that the concern with the Lakers, and not that it's not a concern with Phoenix, but it's just LeBron's health at this point. And you could say the same thing for Kevin Durant. LeBron James is 40 now.
Fair.
Yeah, but you know how many games he's gonna play? Is he gonna be on a minutes restriction? I know last year that was kind of like a big deal.
He won't.
So that's my concern. But you know, I think JJ Redick's gonna be a good coach. You know, I've listened to his podcast. I think he knows what he's talking about. So I think he's gonna be all right as a coach. And then I have the Grizzlies, and then I have the Kings. So those are my playoff teams. I have the Rockets at 9, and then I have the Pelicans at 10. I just think the Warriors, as much as I want to believe all this depth they have, I think it's actually a good thing. They're just very Steph Curry reliant. And if Steph Curry misses 10 games, I think they can go 0-10 in that stretch.
That's a fact.
It's a sad reality.
I mean, unless they're playing the Blazers, the Nets, the Wizards.
Still might go into.
Those are the only teams that I think I trust them to beat.
Yeah, this is not the same. Like if you told me 2021 Steph was in here, I'd definitely shoe in this team as like a nice
Steph
seed.
can't have a 2018 LeBron type season.
He's 37. He's 6'3".
LeBron was 36.
LeBron is 6'9", 250. Steph is 6'3".
I don't even think LeBron was 36. I actually think he was 30.
It's just not. It's
35,
really
34.
rare for guards like guards to really have this type of longevity and be able to carry a team. It's not. It's more in those wings. It's really hard. So like, and then the fact that we constantly have him on the move, constantly keep going. That tank, like you're getting older, brother. Them legs is dying. So you're like,
LeBron was 34. He's 36, so fair.
what?
That LeBron in 2018 was 34, which is still like...
That was Curry's chip
for
year.
sure.
Yeah, that was his chip year, which is fair.
Yeah, so it's just tough. Like I'm confused because like you don't want to pay Kuminga. Pods might come off the bench. Why didn't you just move these guys when you had an opportunity to do it? Like why?
Kuminga quietly averaged 16 last year.
He's
It
just
wasn't
not a
quietly.
good three-point shooter.
It was loud. Trust and believe, brother.
He's just not a good three-point shooter.
His IQ is low on defense. It's really low.
What if he breaks out? What if he takes another leap in his game?
That's the whole. If everything has
He's
to happen.
only 22.
Yeah,
you know what
he's
I mean?
young.
He's so super young.
Outside of the health of Steph Curry, my main concern outside of that...
Draymond Green is also very, very,
Okay.
very.
No suspension.
I was going to say, he stays
he
healthy.
was hurt last year too.
Was he?
Yeah.
But also,
I
don't
just
choke anybody
suspended.
out.
I
Don't
just
hit
remember
anybody.
that,
You know what I
yes.
mean? Like,
Year before he was hurt.
level-headed.
He was on the DPOY train, got hurt again. Year before. Year before that, got hurt again.
See, but he was on the DPOY train. He came back, and y'all still won a chip.
For sure.
I'm
But
not saying
we
you
don't
guys
got
have
the-
that same
Yeah, we
depth.
don't have the same
But
roster.
that goes to what I want to say. Trace Jackson Davis, who's that backup center after that? Because I cannot see a lineup where Draymond Green's your starting 5 the entire
It's
season.
Kevon Looney.
But that's another thing with Kevon Looney. How is he going to look,
Or
especially
Kyle
after
Anderson
last year?
is going to probably play the 5.
I don't love that.
It's better than.
Then also, what's Andrew Wiggins doing this year? Is Andrew Wiggins going to be a contributor to this team? Is he going to be someone that we've seen struggle?
Is he a
the
top
last couple
100
of
player?
years? Not going into the year.
When he's healthy, yes. When he's healthy, easily.
Trey Murphy or him?
Trey Murphy.
Trey Murphy. But like, wait, which Andrew Wiggins?
This one.
Whatever. Walking to 2024. Give me Trey Murphy.
I'll take Trey Murphy. Andrew Wiggins is just unreliable. Like whether he's dealing with something. at
RJ
home-
Barrett or Andrew Wiggins?
Oh, it's Andrew Wiggins, easy.
Easily,
take
you're on
RJ.
casual, and it hurts.
RJ Barrett's not good.
Stop.
I'm taking Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins
Comfortably?
was nothing. I mean, Andrew Wiggins has kind of been nothing for the last couple of years.
He hasn't. Give me RJ.
The year before last year, he was really good. Till he got hurt.
Yeah.
Year before last year.
I guess for the last year and a half. The second half of
Last
the
year,
previous
like that's what I'm saying. It's hard for me to defend him because he's either dealing with something in his personal life,
And of course,
or
there's
he's
a
hurt.
lot going on with him.
Josh Hart or Andrew Wiggins?
Josh Hart. But like, what Andrew Wiggins are you talking about?
This one.
Whatever version we're about to get.
But it's easy to pick on the one that's like we haven't seen the best Andrew
Well,
Wiggins.
I also can't say we're gonna get 2022 Andrew Wiggins.
I just think give me 2023 Andrew Wiggins and I'm fine. Like I'm very good.
Rui Hachimura or Andrew Wiggins?
I mean, I'm taking a lot of people over this Andrew Wiggins right now, Drew.
Taking
this
Andrew
Andrew
Wiggins.
Wiggins is bad.
Rui?
Yes.
Offensively, it's not a conversation.
Lonzo Ball.
Andrew
I
Wiggins.
meant to talk to you about this. He lost me.
What?
He lost me bad. because you've been super vocal about, I don't even think about Lonzo. Like, you might as well not be on my team. You can take him off my team.
He's not a Bulls
But then
fan.
what does he tweet?
I didn't
Happy
see.
Zo Day.
Everybody tweeted it. He's
I
back.
didn't, and I love him.
You're weird for that. He's back.
Happy Zo Day.
It's been
I'm
3
surprised
years since
he
he
didn't tweet
played
that,
basketball.
That
I can't tweet Happy Zo Day. Everybody's tweeting Happy Zo Day. We're happy that he's on the court. Do I actually give a fuck about the Bulls? Probably not. Let me guess. You think he's back because he played some good preseason
He
basketball?
did look good. He looked good.
Your preseason,
Hit a couple threes.
Yo, preseason is a good setup.
Preseason's like
It's a good setup for the regular season.
Warm-ups.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yo, this is the most, comparatively to all the other sports, you see the main players play more in the preseason than any other
definitely,
sport.
what's the word I want to use?
They ramp up.
Ramp up for sure. So the Warriors, we're back. We're 4-0.
That's why I have y'all 10. Y'all
We
moved
had
me.
8. We
Y'all
beat
got
you
some
guys
depth.
3 times.
This last time didn't.
You
I don't
played
care.
the Lakers 3 times.
Yo, but if we're gonna go, if you want to go off that, Bronny played his best game in the
did.
preseason last night.
We played them 3 times.
That's insane.
Yeah.
The haters were nowhere to be found with that one.
They couldn't talk. Yo, he was getting to the basket. Why hasn't he been getting to the basket more? The jump shot's broken. Go to the cup. You're
You
athletic.
can't fucking dribble, Drew.
Did that preseason performance push Bronny James into the top 10 of
Active roster?
father and son
Duos in NBA
Okay,
history.
Just
Yeah.
that preseason
I mean,
game
isn't
alone.
it number one?
Well, number one has to be Del Curry to
Apologize.
Steph Curry.
Oh, we're talking like actually
Yes,
like,
not play together, 'cause they're the first one to
they're
play
only
together.
Yeah, that's why I said shouldn't they be? I guess Dell and Steph has to be one. Tim Hardaway, that probably is in
Gary
that
Payton?
conversation. Reaching now. I'm trying to think of more off the domer. Clay and Clay. That's easy.
Gary Payton
Clay
is
and
probably the
Mikal.
best comparison in this
Well,
format.
Michael Thompson and
Klay
Clay
Thompson.
Thompson. Is that one? Or are we just saying Steph carries so much? Because Michael Thompson was good.
Oh, that was good.
But was he better than Michael?
I don't even
Del
remember.
was a role player. Michael Thompson might have been better.
Steph just clears Clay.
I'm not too familiar with that. Yeah,
More than anything.
I do think Del Curry and Steph Curry's number one.
Okay. Steph is doing a lot of. Come on,
I think, let me look at Dell's. I'm pretty sure he was solid.
You should look up how many fathers and their sons have played in the NBA.
Well,
in
Kenyon
history.
Martin and his son. That's another one.
Okay, that's probably one of the worst ones.
Yes, Kenyon Martin Jr. is not doing much
Yeah,
here.
yeah, no, for sure. In the NBA.
Why can't I think of any off the top of the dome ski?
LeBron and Bronny James are probably over that duo. Kenyon Martin.
So if that's the case, LeBron and I guess
They might be top 5.
Are they two?
So Greg Anthony, Cole Anthony, Rick Barry, Brent Barry,
okay.
Henry Bibby, Mike Bibby.
Rick Barry and Brent Barry is really good. That's
Really
top
high.
5.
No, I'm just naming duos.
Okay.
Yeah. Manute Bobo,
Miss me.
Melvin Booker, Devin Booker. Didn't know that. It's a shocker. Ronnie Brewer.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I didn't know Ronnie Brewer. I don't know who that's. Rick Brunson, Jalen Brunson, Joe Bryant, Kobe Bryant. Another one Kobe's fucking carrying. Wayne Shatman, Rex Shatman. Nick Claxton had a dad in the league. Charles Claxton, Nick Claxton.
Speaking of Claxton, did you guys see that PC video where someone in the chat said who was closer to Nicholas Claxton?
Oh, Chris Bosh.
I didn't
Chris
see it. What
Bosh was closer to Nick Claxton than AD.
Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on that?
That was stupid. he may not be close to AD, but he's so far
Yeah,
off
he's
Nick
so
Claxton.
far removed away from
Like,
Claxton.
I'm going to name just important ones.
Yeah, please. You're
So
naming
obviously,
mid.
Steph, Seth, Dell. He has 2 sons in. Gets dark after that. Oh, Mike Dunleavy Sr., Mike Dunleavy Jr. I think that's semi. Patrick Ewing, his son was trash.
Yeah, that is true. He was on the Knicks for a brief time.
Are we
period.
saying Tim Hardaway and
Adrian Griffin. AJ Griffin has some relevancy because AJ just retired. Ron Harper Jr.
Okay.
You know,
They could get there.
no, that's the older son. The younger son is Dylan.
Oh,
yeah. The older son he didn't pan out, but the younger son,
Yeah, that's
on the
what
rise.
he's
coming.
got potential.
Al Horford, Tito Horford,
Oh, shout out to Tito.
yeah. Juwan Howard, Jet Howard.
That's potential.
Yep. George Karl, Kobe. I don't know, irrelevant.
Sounds like Bronny's top 3.
Stan Love, Kevin Love.
What was,
Kevin's
what was
pretty
Stan
good.
Love putting up there?
Yo, Arvydas Sabonis and Domantas Sabonis.
They did not pop up yet, but they're
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, that's locked. That's
Yeah,
locked.
they're
That's top 5.
then Gary Payton in a second.
Is that one?
I don't think it's over Del Curry and Steph Curry.
Arvydas was a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
This is
know he
both
was.
father and son put in pain. You know what I mean?
Yep, found them. They popped up.
Put in pain bothers me. It's not a good statement.
This shit is dying. Yeah,
I'm
Mike.
surprised you haven't seen Tim Hardaway Jr. yet. Have you seen that yet or no?
Oh wow, yeah, he didn't. I didn't see him. I see
One of the first ones I saw.
Gary Trent Jr. I see him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's up here. I didn't get to that one yet though.
It's not a bad duo.
It's mid.
Yeah,
like, it's comfortably mid. It's mid. Like it's cool. Like it's nothing crazy. Like it's cool.
It's mid.
Yeah. They didn't pop up. Yeah, that's pretty much
Hey,
it.
if we missed any, put them in the comments.
We definitely missed that one that you said. I forgot what you said, but let me look up.
Yeah, I think LeBron and Bronny are top 10. Probably top
10
6,
for sure.
top 7.
I don't know because Bronny's about to go to the G League.
Yeah.
OD.
That's
Just, like,
a
how
lot
many-
more than a lot of these former
How many
players.
Michael
games will
Jordan's sons
Bronny
was in
play
the G
in the
League.
NBA? How many games will Bronny play in the
Yo,
NBA?
low key, Del Curry was nice.
Was he? Enlighten me.
10
Is
points a
Bronny playing
game.
100 career NBA games?
You think he will? Yes and no.
I'm
That's
asking.
OD. 10 points a game, 12 points a game, 16, 11, 16.
Who's this?
This is Dell.
Dell
16,
was nice, yeah.
15, 16, 14, 15, 15. Then it got dead after that.
They're number one for sure.
Yeah. No, yeah. Dell was fake. Let's look at Michael Thomas.
I'm sorry, Dell.
See if Michael Thomas
I wasn't aware of your game.
Sabonis might be 2, Bron 3. Because honestly, right? It's just LeBron. Bronny's it contributes 0.
What are you looking at now?
What's the criteria? Are we kind of doing? Are we weighing
Skill.
it out? Do both of them have to be somewhat good?
I think that's what I'm weighing it
So
into.
Steph's all time, Dell was good. Michael Thomas, 15
I know,
points.
he was a dog.
17, 21, 16, 16, 18, 15. Died down after that.
Michael was good.
Let's look at Joe
Michael
Bryant.
and Clay, I could hear them being 2.
Yeah.
I could hear them being
They
2.
probably are.
Yeah.
Joe Bryant, what was he? Nah, this isn't worth reading.
It's the equivalent of Bronny and
No, this is
LeBron.
not. Joe Bryant's better. He was a 12-point per game scorer.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, we don't
okay.
know if Bronny's getting there yet. Like, yeah, but Joe Bryant, he's there for sure.
So now the next tier in the Western Conference, you have the Spurs, Clippers, Jazz, and Blazers. I think
This is gonna be exciting.
They all suck. The Spurs have potential because of Wemby, Devin Vassell. Higher on some of those pieces. Stephon Calcio.
He's hurt
you have
right now.
there.
Devin Vassell.
Oh,
Out till
okay.
November, yeah.
That sucks. I think the Clippers are going to be the third worst team in the West. I think they're going to be below the Spurs. And I've seen some people on Twitter say, I mean, you guys are sleeping on James Harden. I think at this point in time, Wemby or Harden, when they lead a team, I think I can get more wins from Wemby.
You think?
I think at this point in time,
I know.
when we look at James Harden, he's just not going to be able to carry the same load. And this leads me to my other point. I think the only interesting talking points that I have for these teams all come from the Clippers. Number one, the Clippers are in the worst situation of any NBA team currently. And I haven't seen a team in this bad of a situation in a very long time. Even when the Nets traded their picks to Boston.
Dude, the Nets literally were just in this.
I don't think that's worse than what the Clippers got going on. They don't own any of their first round picks or have control over them until 2030. Kawhi Leonard has degenerative knees. We don't know if he's ever going to play. James Harden's on a 1-year deal. Like right now, what do the Clippers do to try to have any sort of future? Because right now, I think their best centerpiece going forward is Ivica Zubac. And all due respect to him, that's your number one centerpiece moving forward. They don't have anybody they can build around. I think they'd be smart to trade James Harden for what they can because this team's going to be one of the worst teams in the Western Conference.
Give him to LA.
Give him a chance to win a championship. Send him to OKC. Let me ask you a question.
Christ.
How much help does Shea need, man?
Let me ask you a question. OKC owns the Clippers draft rights.
I'm not
this
gonna
year
lie. I'm not
for
giving
the
them
pick
a
swap.
single pick for James Harden.
Hell no.
I'm not giving any
Not
of those
James
Clippers.
Harden.
He's
I'm
begging
saying
Harden to get a ring.
If the Clippers call up OKC and say, "Listen, we got ourselves in a pickle. We need to get some picks. We'll trade you Kawhi Leonard for our draft rights this
Just
year."
1 year. I still say no.
Nah,
You say no if you're OKC,
not for
right?
this draft.
I mean,
class.
also, how do you
maybe
even-
I'll send them a Miami Heat
How do you
pick
even
a
make
half.
that money work for OKC? You need
Because,
to make
bro,
up fucking
their
40 mil.
consolation prize for not getting Cooper Flag is either Ace, is either Dylan Harper, it's either VJ Edgecombe. They're hitting a lick on one of these guys.
And
regardless.
Kawhi's trade value right now is probably the
You sen-
lowest it's ever been.
You send them one of them picks that's protected for like 3 years. Like, all right, I'll send you this Sixers top 5 protected pick you can have for the year. You don't send them the Clippers pick. You do not send them that one.
That's why it makes no sense where the Clippers are at right now. James Harden is the most valuable player you can trade. I think they'd be smart to just trade Harden, Norman Powell, and just any valuable piece. Even if they don't own their picks, they still need to have some sort of draft capital to build their team around. I think Kawhi Leonard's not going to accept any trade anywhere. I think if the Clippers even try to trade him, he's going to retire. I don't think he is in the mode to play basketball at a high level again with how many injuries he's dealt with. And we know that he loves LA. I don't think he's going to want to go anywhere else. I think he loves LA. He likes to live there. And it sucks because the Clippers have this player that at his very best is one of the very best players in the NBA, but they can't trade him for anything.
Yep. I think I feel more bad for Kawhi, honestly. Like the fact that he just keep, like, his knees are so bad, he keeps getting stripped. Like every time he comes back, he shows us that he's still one of the 10 best players in the world. And then boom, another injury. Boom, we're robbed of him going into another playoff series. Boom, we're robbed of, greatness. And I think that's the part that sucks for us as fans. But I think the Clippers kind of timed all of this up in the right fashion. All of these contracts are going to be done in about a year or two, in which the free agency class is going to be super fucking fire. Like, it's going to be legit players that are like that they can bounce back from. So I think that's what they're kind of banking on, because you can't bank on your draft picks, obviously. But I think based off what Steve Ballmer has showed us, Lawrence Frank and the boys, there's a way that they can get out of it. It's very difficult, and it's probably something that we can't see right now. But I think they have this way that they can probably figure out where they may not get that pick back, but they'll get something, because you need something in this next draft class. Like, you need, whether it be a role player, of a Jaime Jaquez type, or whether it be a star, you need to get something from this class, because you haven't really drafted well late, with these players like, still wait and see, but Kobe Brown, and then Musa Diabita from a couple years ago, Brandon Boston, Amir Coffey. Like, you haven't really hit on these late picks. I mean, you hit on Terrence Mann, which was dope, but outside of that, you haven't really done that. So you definitely need to kind of start thinking about this end of stage era. And I think the Clippers kind of knew that, going in, re-signing James Harden, re-signing Kawhi, but they're going into a new building. You need something. You need to put asses in the seat somehow, some way. But I do agree with you. I think Clippers, Portland, Utah, the Spurs are definitely going to be one of the worst teams in the league. Spurs probably have the most potential to jump up at that. It's just really hard to see, because their roster really just isn't good. I do love Wemby. I'm a big Stephon Castle fan. I like Sunghan as a role player.
I like Chris Paul's leadership.
Chris Paul's leadership. He does bring that. That's one thing he will undoubtedly bring in some. His IQ is still one of the best in the league.
Trey Jones will benefit the most from outside of Wemby,
Trey,
obviously.
Stephon Castle, them guards, Malachi Brandon will definitely benefit. It's just this team really isn't good. In the West, it's a lot of good-ass teams. Like, we just named 11 teams that are really good. And outside of that guy right there, the big man, it's really hard to see this team making a push for the play-in.
Yeah, I think the biggest question, at least for the Clippers, I think they got screwed. Or the Clippers screwed themselves by opening this new arena while having all of these players on their decline. You saw Paul George. I guess Paul George is the only one probably not in his decline, and he walked for nothing. You have Kawhi Leonard, whose trade value is as low as it's ever been, out for indefinite amount of time. There's a chance he doesn't play this season. There's a chance he misses 3 months of this season. The fact that this is the same injury that he was questionable to play in the playoffs last year. Like, the Clippers were like, oh yeah, there's a chance he plays.
They've been lying for like a year.
And now we're 4 months removed at this point, and it's like, yeah, he's got to get shut down for, we don't know how long. It might be the whole season. And then James Harden it felt like once you lost Paul George, but we got to keep Harden. We need someone. If Kawhi's not going to play, we can't run Zubac and Terrence Mann, and Derrick Jones is our big three for this new arena. So the timing of it was just really unfortunate.
That's why I think it's a plan, because
But it makes me think if they stayed with the Lakers arena and they were a couple years away, like, you know what? This might be a decent time to rebuild.
I don't know, because you think about the timeline. They've been lying about the Kawhi injury since he first came out. Like, they've been saying, oh, there's nothing, then there's something. Oh, USA sent him home. Oh, but he's still healthy enough to play. Oh, now he has tendonitis. Oh, no, he'll be fine for opening night. Like, they've been saying a bunch of nothing. So I feel like internally you kind of knew about Kawhi's knees, right? Why not get something back for Paul George? Why just let him walk for nothing? Why keep James Harden? Like, there has to be some sort of evil behind the back plan for why they're making pretty bad decisions.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, they would have had to sign and trade Paul George. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because last year they were playing way too well to even think about trading him at the deadline.
Yeah,
I mean, this was
back, but you would have got back something.
You would have. But last year, I mean, we were talking about this being one of the best teams in the West. Last year they were going through everybody, especially that first half of the regular season.
So you mentioned Kawhi Leonard. He'll probably just reject it. Made me think about it and look at it. Are you meaning more so in the sense of he gets traded, retires?
I don't think,
because I go.
Yeah, he doesn't have a trade clause.
There's only 10 players in NBA history with a no trade clause. Do you want to guess them?
Sure. Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal is the last one and probably will be the last one ever.
LeBron James.
Yep. He also has a no trade clause.
Kind of gets dark from there. Let's go.
Jordan.
Jordan is not here.
These are all old players. The rest of them.
They're all time.
Thanks for that.
Kobe
are they
Bryant.
No, I mean, I guess now in hindsight they are old.
Brother, are they from the 80s, 70s, or like?
Oh no, not 80s and beyond. No, that's what I mean. No,
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe's here.
Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan's here.
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird's not here. That's why I said 80s.
I respect Tim Duncan to having that in there.
Shaq.
Shaq is not here. Shaq was ready to move.
Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade is here.
No trade clause.
Giannis.
Giannis is not here. No modern players anymore outside of LeBron and Bradley. And Bradley's is kind of done because he waived it already.
Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo is here.
That's a good pull.
Knicks.
How many we have left?
You have 1, 2, 3, 4 left.
Tracy McGrady.
Not a bad pull, but no.
Dwayne Wade.
We already said him.
Vince Carter.
No.
Yeah, man.
No. You kind of, I wouldn't say you're on the right track, but
Chris
like.
Webber.
No. Now you're really on the right track. There's one player who you're really on the right track.
Okay. So I know I'm in that area. I'm in
Paul
that
Pierce?
years.
All these players are better than Chris Webber. I'll say that. Paul Pierce, no.
Ray Allen.
No.
Dirk Nowitzki.
Bang.
There we go. Okay. I love that. Help each other.
These are all gettable.
Kevin Garnett.
Bang.
Damn.
I was thinking about it, but I didn't know if he was a legit one.
Think about that era. Kobe.
It's a lot of them.
Dirk. Kevin Garnett. Wade.
Did Reggie Miller have one?
No. Okay. These last two, very gettable. They are...
Give us the era.
90s.
Alonzo Mourning.
Patrick Ewing.
No.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
No.
Charles Barkley.
No.
David Robinson.
There we go. I was like, you named every single one of them but Charles. And this guy, I wouldn't say it's shocking because he's definitely an all-time great, but him being the guy with David Robinson in the 90s to have no trade clause was definitely interesting. He's an all-time great, no doubt.
Charles Barkley.
No.
Oh, fuck no. He got traded everywhere.
Well, the way you talk makes me believe that it's not Hakeem Olajuwon.
It's not. Because I respect Olajuwon.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Okay.
I respect this player too.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yes.
But he's not of this caliber.
No. I think of the names listed outside of Bradley Beal, he's the worst one.
He played in the 90s?
Outside of Bradley Beal and Carmelo.
Dominique Wilkins.
No. He's 80s.
90s too. But I
Fair.
get what you're saying. Gary Payton.
No.
Sean Kemp.
No. You're on the right track with
Clyde Drexler.
No.
Okay.
It's gettable. Maybe I'm underrated.
Kevin Johnson.
No. Again, I said these players are all better than Paul Pierce.
You said on
You
the
didn't say
right
that.
track
Oh, you
with
did?
Gary Payton?
Yes. On the right track.
Save me.
The only person I'm thinking of is maybe players that played with Gary Payton
I wouldn't do that.
No, stop.
or it's point guards in general.
John Stockton.
Dang.
There we go.
You
That was
understand
my
what I
next
mean there?
guess.
It's like, yeah, he's an all-time great. He arguably top 5 point
He
guard.
did play in Utah
But
forever.
I'm not shocked he's on the
him,
list.
I mean, Utah. Legend.
I don't know, Jordan, Charles, Patrick.
Stockton was definitely like a top 10 player in his time, though. Every
Yeah,
year.
for sure.
Charles Barkley be wanting to get the fuck up out of place if he don't win enough. So
But like, what's it called? Guy you can't talk about on any type of.
Oh, of course you can.
You know what I mean?
When it comes to Kawhi Leonard and just the injury history he's had, where do you think Kawhi Leonard ranks all time in terms of biggest what ifs in NBA history? Do you think it's one of the top 5 biggest what ifs ever? Top
It's not.
10?
It's a what if, but it's not because we saw Kawhi at his best. What he became. He became a top 3 player in the NBA, NBA champion, best player in championship team. He became all of that. So the what ifs I feel like are always like Derrick Rose that comes up, right? Like he tore his ACL at such a young age, wins the MVP, youngest age ever. We never get to see what his career ends up turning out to be. So Kawhi, we got robbed of the longevity of it, but we didn't get really robbed of Kawhi Leonard, I don't think.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think we got to see enough to know that we needed more. Like, I think we got to see him in Toronto.
He needed more of a taste.
No, 100%. We definitely needed the whole load.
Look at the 2021 run.
Yeah. Like
you said that very well.
Yeah, we
yes,
we got
he's
to
amazing.
See
yes,
him with Toronto, but we didn't get to see him win an MVP, which we felt like he could have won it. We felt like he could have competed for MVP and DPOIs in the same year. We didn't get to see him with the Clippers, go up in that second year where they could have went to the championship. We didn't get to see him against the Warriors fully healthy with Kevin Durant, with Steph Curry in 2017 where Kawhi really broke out. We've missed moments where that could have really, that could have really solidified Kawhi's placement in the top 20, top 25. It just feels like we're missing a part of his career. Like with D Rose, like you mentioned, he got hurt early. B Roy, he got hurt early. I feel like Kawhi gives us T-Mac vibes in the sense of we saw his greatness, but we still feel like the injuries robbed us of so much longevity that we could have seen. Like he was up there with Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry. Like he was really a top 5 player, and he could have been sitting on maybe more rings than what he has now. But the unfortunate truth is the knees just started dying. Like he's like D Wade. Like he's not the what if. Like D Wade's not a what if, but D Wade's career longevity was robbed and cut short because of his bad knees.
I was going to say, there's a few that come to mind. Jordan, what if he doesn't step away from the game for that year and a half? What if he doesn't retire after the 6th championship? Honestly, Magic Johnson, he had to retire from basketball at 31. He had a lot of his career left. He missed essentially
Larry Bird, the back problems.
That's another one. We didn't talk about Brandon Roy. We didn't talk about Greg Oden. We got to see a lot of Kawhi Leonard. I understand that. Riv, I really want to emphasize, you said that so perfectly. We saw enough to want more and to think he could have given us more. That's fair. I could also use that in the same breath with Magic and with
Bird. Magic,
Jordan, and Bird for sure. But again, I feel as if I look at Magic 31, Jordan retiring at the peak of his powers, middle of his career. There's just so many different instances where I look at Kawhi, and I do think that he's a top 25 at floor for me personally, top 30 player in the history of this game. I genuinely believe his impact was that great, but he still was able to give it to us for a long amount of time. That's kind of where I'm at with Kawhi. I wouldn't call it a what if, more so as a damn. It sucks because he is still an all-time great, and he could have given you more, but we still got to see him play at his prime, in his prime.
NBA Western Conference predictions 1 through 6, the playoff locks: Thunder, Timberwolves, Mavericks, Nuggets, Suns, Lakers. My play-in teams: the Grizzlies, the Kings, the Rockets, and the Pelicans. And my teams just outside of that: the Warriors, Spurs, Clippers, Jazz, and Blazers.
I have OKC finishing at number 1. I think they can be in contention for the best team in the league. Got the Nuggets at 2, Mavericks at 3, Wolves at 4, Suns at 5, can be a sneaky top 4 squad. Number 6, I have the Kings. Number 7, my Los Angeles Lakers. Number 8, Memphis. 9, Rockets. 10, Golden State. Give Steph Curry the benefit of the doubt. Number 11, the Pelicans. Figure it out. They need a center, please, for the love of God. Number 12, Spurs. 13, Clippers. 14, Utah. And 15, Blazers.
Top 6, I got Thunder, Wolves, Mavs, Nuggets, Suns, Kings. Playing teams: Grizzlies at the 7th seed, Lakers, Rockets, Pelicans. The Warriors are the first team that got left out. That I think this is the last team out of the bunch that could make the play-in, but I'm right outside 11. Spurs, Clippers, Jazz, Blazers.
So for me, playoff locks, I got OKC at 1, Minnesota at 2, Dallas at 3, Denver at 4. I have the Kings at 5, and the Suns at 6. Playing teams: Memphis, Lakers, Pels, Rockets. I do agree. I think at 11 is the Warriors. This is the last of the actual good teams in the West. And then the Cooper Flag sweepstake: Clippers, Spurs, Utah, and Portland.
For NBA awards predictions, my MVP is Luka Doncic. I think he's been knocking on the door for MVP for the last couple of years. Jason Tatum came into my mind for MVP and
Don't
SGA.
pick Jason Tatum.
But I think the Celtics are so stacked that Tatum doesn't have to put up those MVP level numbers to be in consideration for it. SGA is one that I really thought about, but I think if we expect the Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams leap, I think naturally SGA's numbers can take a little bit of a decline. But if they're the number 1 seed in the West, I could see SGA winning MVP. But I have Luka winning MVP. Defensive Player of the Year, they already basically gave it to Victor Wembanyama. I mean, he has
rightfully so.
He has minus money. It's minus odds right now for him to win Defensive Player of the Year.
He's going to win DPOY for the next 5 years.
Most Improved Player. I like Jalen Johnson a lot.
Love
I
it.
think the Hawks and Jalen Johnson is his perfect match, and playing with Trae Young, getting more opportunity now that DeJounte's not there. I know he had a somewhat of a breakout year last year, but I think this year could be a 21-10 kind of season for him with 4 to 5 assists. My Rookie of the Year is Zach Edey. Sixth Man of the Year, Malik Monk. Coach of the Year, I think this is where I go with Joe Mazzulla.
Well said.
Last year, Mark Daigneault was Coach of the Year, deservedly so. If OKC finishes with the best record in the league again, I think that maybe this time around they give it to Joe Mazzulla just because Daigneault won last year. And Clutch Player of the Year, which I think this is kind of a waste of an award, if I'm being honest.
I didn't even write it down.
But I have Jalen Brunson for Clutch Player of the Year. Just
I like that.
Giving him an award.
I respect that. I move on to mine. MVP, picking him every year. It's got to happen some year. Jason Tatum.
What if it never happens?
What if it does?
He's never going to
What
win.
if it's actually Jaylen Brown?
I would be head over heels. I love Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown. I own the Boston Celtics.
Don't be stupid. Rookie of the Year. This was tough. There was a lot of different guys I wanted. Zach Edey definitely came to mind. I went with Alex Sarr. I think he's just going to get a ton of looks. He's gonna be used so much. But he's been great in the preseason so far. He had a game 15 points, 6 for 8 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3, 12-point game, 2 for 6 from 3, 7-point game, didn't play as much, 2 for 3 from 3. But the fact that the shooting's there, I think is a good sign for him to get a lot of touches on that team. Most Improved Player, Jalen Johnson was also the first name that came to mind. If I didn't go Jalen Johnson, since they love to go you're a top pick and you had maybe not a great early start to your career, but end up being really good, can Scoot Henderson maybe be something this year where he's able to be the player that we thought he was going to be coming out of the draft? Coach of the Year, that. I think the Rockets are going to be the team that jumps the most this season. I know I had them at 9. I think that could be conservative. Like, they could get up to that 8 to that 7 seed. They had 41 wins last year. They're only going to add on top of that. So I'd Ime for Coach of the Year. Sixth man, also go with Malik Monk. Thought he deserved it last year. Nothing against Naz Reid, but I thought Malik Monk deserved it last year. Defensive Player of the Year, Victor is the favorite everywhere. He's going to average like fucking 6 stocks. So it's probably going to be him. If not, Bam Adebayo has been talking about it recently, which makes me think if something happens to Vic where he doesn't get the game threshold, Bam talks about it in the media. He could be that next guy up, especially because you get voter fatigue for a guy like Rudy Gobert. And then Clutch Player of the Year went with Donovan Mitchell.
All right, good, Rivio.
Ooh, I love that, yo. I'm glad you're here, and I love that we're here for something.
He's a Mets fan, fucks with the Celtics, Tatum.
So you're not really here. You just whatever.
He just likes some of the stuff I like, so I like him.
But what about me?
You don't like me, so I don't really like you.
You're cooking.
Can't argue with that.
He can't.
Good logic.
My MVP, I'm going with SGA. I just think they'll comfortably be one of the best team in the regular season. They'll have probably 60 plus wins. I can see SGA upgrading his 3-point shot. The pull up looks really nice.
Just when I say Tatum does it, it's a problem.
I don't even care if you say Tatum does it. SGA is better. But SGA is just giving you that.
He's got a championship. That's a fact.
Listen, I can't argue with that. But giving you that consistent 30-point per game scoring, he'll uptake the playmaking, the 3-point shot get better. So that's my MVP. My Defensive Player of the Year, I feel like Wemby is the easiest answer, so I went somewhere different. I'm going Evan Mobley. I think Evan Mobley is going to grab that award this year. I think with Kenny Atkinson coming in, I think Evan Mobley getting a little bit stronger defensively. He showed that last year he is one of the best defenders in the league. I think he can have that Rudy Gobert-like impact. It is going to be tough with Jaron Allen over there, so he probably won't win it, but hoping for him to win it. My MIP, I went 2 players. I went the obvious lottery pick vibe. I think, what's his name? Jalen Johnson. Forgot his name for a second. I think Jalen Johnson is probably going to be a consensus pick at the table. So my side guy is Dyson Daniels. I think Dyson Daniels, one of his teammates, will probably get the starting nod at the 2 because he's 6'7", he's long. The defense is probably his best trait at the moment. But they'll probably need another ball handler, another connector. Maybe Dyson Daniels could come in and fill that role. He'll definitely get the minutes for it, and I think you need that to start your MIP campaign. My Coach of the Year, I went 2 names. Mark Daigneault, obviously to fit the SGA agenda. My next guy is Taylor Jenkins. Just to bounce back from last year. I think Memphis, I did have him as a 7th seed. I think like you mentioned with the Houston Rockets, I think Memphis can exceed that. Maybe be as high as a 5th seed. I think as long as they get GG back, they get Vince Williams back, John Morant last year was a limited amount of games. When he does play, they're a pretty good team. And I think John Morant will come back. Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane, they got better last year. So that's going to be an upgraded improvement. My rookie of the year is Zach Edey. I'm on the same vibe as you. I think he's going to be probably the most important piece for Memphis just because of the simple fact that he's going to be able to let Jaren Jackson be free on defense. He's going to be able to kind of give you what Steven Adams used to give you. And that was one of their biggest successes when they were a good team in the regular season. Steven Adams' ability to be a connector in the pick and roll, to set strong screens, be great on the rebounding department. I think Zach Edey can do that similar stuff that Steven Adams gives you. And clutch of the year, I didn't write anybody down, but let's go Steph Curry for round 2. Clutch of the year. He'll win it.
All right, so my MVP, I do have SGA. I think that they're going to be the top seed in the Western Conference. And
you saw his meet? They were posting about it?
How it's not Donovan Mitchell's?
Yeah, it's been crazy.
You're probably the head of that.
No, I didn't start it this time. I wouldn't do that on
Which
social
of you guys
platform.
are the head of Skims? That moved you?
Yeah, but I wouldn't do that on a social platform. That'd be a straight group chat.
I don't know. I feel like, did that video of you, should we not maybe talk about the Skims commercial?
Damn!
It was a good commercial. It was a very good commercial.
That video is not on the internet?
No, it's not. It was a
kept
group
it
chat.
private.
Okay.
Did you know that Anthony Davis and Alex Caruso have the same Defensive Player of the Year odds?
That's
I
kind
did
of
see
crazy.
Alex
Plus
was like,
3,100.
yeah, that's kind of crazy.
That feels
Speaks
insane.
volumes.
It's disrespectful to AD.
Yeah,
It
more
is,
than anything, for
but
sure.
It speaks to
You
how
know,
elite Alex Caruso is. Now, you mentioned Anthony Davis. That's my dark horse MVP.
Yep.
If the Lakers are a top 5, top 6 team, and I believe Anthony Davis is going to be a superstar this year. He's going to confidently show the world he is a top 8 player in the game. If you win MVP, of course, I don't know if you can take that top spot off Jokic. Jokic just simply overmatches him every single time they match up. But Anthony Davis, if he can shoot the 3 ball this season at a relatively efficient clip. I'm not asking for what he showed me in 2020. I'm just asking simply that he goes out there and he shoots 36% on 3 attempts a game. That really would excite me. So Coach of the Year, you mentioned Joe Mazzulla. I think you hit it right in the head. This is going to be the title favorite for a second year in a row. I believe that they will be the best team in the league, or at minimum the best team in the Eastern Conference, and they have to respect somebody on the Boston Celtics. It'll be Joe Mazzulla. My 6th man of the year, I have Malik Monk or Alex Caruso. I'll lean Malik Monk because I believe he got robbed last year, and I think he should have won the award. Clutch player of the year, Luka Doncic. If he's not going to win MVP, he's got to win some type of award that's not first team All-NBA. So give me Luka. Defensive player of the year, Victor Wembanyama. I contemplated making him my dark horse MVP, but without me putting them in the top 10, I feel like there's no route for him to be the most valuable player. Rookie of the year, give me Zachary Richeche. I genuinely am buying in. He looked very, very efficient in his limited opportunity in the preseason. At the time that I took these notes, 2 games, 60% from the field, shot over 40% from the 3-point line. And if he's going to give you some relatively high-level defense because of the size, the versatility that he does provide, I think that there will be the route for him to be your Rookie of the Year. He's going to have a ton of opportunity on the Hawks, and that's where I can see him winning this award. Dark horse, Tejan Saluan. He was very impressive in his 3 games in the preseason. 13 points a game on 48% from the field, 46% from 3. And this was on 22 attempts from the field in general. 22 attempts from 3. He was really letting that thing go. So that's an extra level of spacing that is provided for the Hornets. He's my dark horse to bring it home, especially because people were really questioning that pick on draft night. And then my MIP, they've gone the basic route the last couple of years outside of Lauri Markkanen winning the award over SGA, which I believe that was deserved, which is why I have J-Dub here as my winner to
Lauri
take MIP. True, but Lauri was by far the more impressive leap than SGA, who SGA we kind of all anticipated. It was just a matter of him staying healthy. I think if they go the basic route, kind of how they did with Tyrese Maxey over Kobe White, I can see Jalen Williams bringing home this award. But like you guys, I also have Jalen Johnson as MIP type of winner. I would have him number 2 because OKC is going to be number 1 in my opinion. And J-Dub is only going to get better. He can be more efficient. He can be more productive as an offensive scorer, And if he gets a little bit more opportunity, like you mentioned, if you see SGA kind of take a little bit of a lesser, I don't want to say lesser because I still think he's going to average 27 to maybe 30 points per game. But then that means that there is still room for J-Dub to still get his. He can average anywhere from 23 to 25 points a game. There's a route for him to be your MIP, especially if they're the 1 seed.
And that's going to do it for episode 419 of the Pick a Side podcast. You guys can follow us on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod, on Instagram and TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast, and use code PAS on Prize Picks. Play $5, get $50. The link is in the description down below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.